The stakes have never been higher. The competition has never been stronger. 35 drivers, 20 rounds. One will be crowned champion. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. You're watching the premier American Open Wheel Series on iRacing. The Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment starts now.
We're all gamers, and HyperX is always ready to game. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. The Hope Diamond, the Star of India, the Heart of the Ocean, and don't forget Lloyd Ruby. Gems all. Add to that list today's event, the first jewel of the Triple Crown. From Michigan International Speedway, it's time for the Global Sim Racing Channel's Round 5 coverage of the Lionheart IndyCar Season 8 Championship, presented by First Medical Equipment. If it's a Sunday and it's a Lionheart event, then you know it's special. Such is the case before us now. On tap, a full 500 miles and double points. And speaking of points, how about a driver's championship tighter than a first gear hairpin? Last time out, the Lionheart guys opened the Kentucky race with a 113-lap green flag stint. These drivers know how to race clean, race hard, and when you see them on the track, they'll put on a great show. If your Wednesday night is usually devoted to Jeff Probst and Survivor, well, that's why God invented the DVR, because this rare Sunday taste of Lionheart is going to change your hump day viewing habits. So with the lily sufficiently gilded, without any more follow or further ado, it's the Lionheart US 500 presented by Butt Kicker and all the simulated Dallara IR18 action from green flag to Victory Donut streams your way live as it happens right here on the iRacing Esports Network. Hopefully with the approval of Michigan's Governor Gretchen Whitmer, welcome to another GSRC production and the Sim Experience Countdown to Green. Over the next 15 minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to appreciate the Lionheart US 500 presented by Butt Kicker. Way up in the press box to bring you our Words Eye View, former real-world IndyCar driver Richie Hearn, joined by yours truly, Bill Soupson. Sean Ambrose has director duties armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. There's never been a Lionheart IndyCar season without a visit to Michigan, but never for more than 200 miles. They'll go 2.5 times that distance today. If somehow you've managed to stay unfamiliar with this place, pay attention. Smoking causes cancer, America landed on the moon, and here's a look at Michigan.
Welcome to the Michigan International Speedway. This 2-mile D-shaped oval located in the beautiful Irish hills of southern Michigan, sitting about an hour and a half's drive to the southwest of Detroit along I-94, right in the backyard of Chevrolet and Ford. When you're that close to Detroit Power, your speedway better live up to the hype. 18-degree banked corners with a 12-degree banked front stretch allow for maximum power and lots of action. The higher downforce Indy cars were able to put on spectacular shows of driver bravery and talent. In recent years, it's played host to mostly the tin top cars, as the NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Gander Truck, and even ARCA Series have all hosted events here in the last decade. Michigan is a wide, sweeping oval, but it isn't harmless. The lowest groove of the corners near the bottom can be your very best friend in the IndyCar, but your worst enemy in the tin tops. Cars will frequently get loose that far down the track, causing chaos for the pack behind. Michigan is all about speed and lots of it. Often the drivers that find the most success here are the ones willing to experiment around the track and fine grip their competitors haven't. The facility in recent years has doubled down on fan comfort as well, giving more elbow room, redoing seats, camping areas, even providing Wi-Fi to watch all of these live broadcasts in the grandstands of all the sections. All in all, Michigan has become a staple of American motorsports since it opened in 1968. Fans and drivers both always look forward to when the schedules come back to the beautiful Irish hills of southern Michigan. Fast speeds, high action, it's all here at Michigan International Speedway, where it's your speed.
For GSRC's immersion special, Chef Pierre says take a hot dog, top it with the beef heart chili sauce, mustard, and raw onions to build a Detroit-style coney dog. Wash that down with an Icy's Werner's ginger ale, and you've got the flavor of Michigan. A man who needs no help with immersion because he risks life and limb here for real 4 times. My booth mate, Richie Hearn.
Yeah, Michigan, probably for me, my second favorite super speedway next to Indy. It's a really fast place. I reached 250 miles an hour here in 1998 in practice, but also had my best finish there that year, and it's a lot of fun. Lots of grooves. You can run 3 wide pretty easily, and you can really kind of plan your moves out way in advance, and these guys are going to show us a great race today. It looks like the sun is out, and it should be a nice run. No real danger spots, just kind of have to pick your spots when you're ready. Remember, the countdown to green is brought to you by Sim Experience AccuForce steering systems. With the most advanced tuning features on the market, the AccuForce Direct Drive is second only to the real thing. To check out the entire Sim Experience line of products, head on over to simexperience.com.
250 miles an hour going into a corner. That's Richie. That's Bonneville Salt Flat speed, man.
Yeah, I was a little was hoping that the suspension could hold on to that, but it's one thing that I talk about a lot because not everybody's got to do that. So it's quite an experience.
Indeed, that's frightening. Let's go ahead and look at something that's not quite as frightening. That's the point standings. These, of course, are brought to you by the good folks at First Medical Equipment. Hey, a 10th place Kentucky finish dropped Josh Chin out of the lead down into 4th. Now, a bluegrass 5th was enough to return Connor Harrington to the top of the chart. 2 ticks ahead of Michael Goodman, second being the New Yorker's highest place on the standings so far this season. Making their way onto the graphics for the first time is Mike Rigney and Brian Carey, climbing to 9th and 15th respectively. And how about Jason Galvin? He installs a Sim Experience direct drive wheel and rockets 17 spots. Coincidence? Me thinks not. Let's go to the team championship. And of course, this comes your way thanks to HyperX. The best of the day at Kentucky was 8-Ball Motorsports pocketing 141 points thanks to Michael Goodman in second. A totally under-the-radar 6th place finish from Justin Weaver and Mike Rigney in 8th. Now, Adrenaline Red jumped 5 spots before last round, drops 2 spots this time, but they do get a nod for team consistency. 12th, 13th, and 14th were the finishing positions for Andrew Kinsella, Brian Carey, and Joe Branch. Alantech Simulations NHR Esports sits at the top still with Adrenaline Black and SKM in 2nd and 3rd. There is another championship. Richie, what do you got?
Yeah, we got the Rookie of the Year championship, and these points are presented by Butt Kicker. As you can see, Josh Chin stays in first. Usually this Rookie of the Year is a little bit tighter than this, but we got a long ways to go. But Chin in first, 30 points up on Kankapati, who stays in second. And we got Nathan Lewis with this 14th spot, moves up 3 positions to 3rd. Holiday down 1 spot into 4th. Frazier in 5th. Sandman, he missed Kentucky. He's going to drop 2 spots down into 6th place, 74 markers back. Then you got Darren Ganji up 1 to 7th. And Scott Holmes still paying his rookie dues, sitting in 8th. But this championship will tighten up as we get closer to the end of the season.
And to George Sandman, fear not, there are drop rounds. Richie will talk a little bit more about that as we go along. The best of the best in the iRacing World Championships, as well as many of the top private leagues like the one you're watching right now, are showcased right here Where? On the iRacing Esport Network. If you haven't done so yet, make sure that you subscribe. I'll tell you this, GSRC is proud to be part of the IESN stable of broadcasters. And let's talk about the Lionheart Racing Series. It's powered by HyperX. It is the premier open-wheeled racing league on iRacing. It oversees not one, but two great series. The Lionheart Retro Series presented by DMLC Racing Channel. You can see that on GSRC on Thursday nights. And then the one you're watching today, that's the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment. Both series honor the memory of the late Dan Weldon. And of course, a rare Sunday time slot equates to many first-time viewers. So with that in mind, Richie, how about some series details?
Yep, and these series details come to us thanks to Minus 273, the premier name in karting gloves. Their industry-leading gloves are super lightweight and durable, made of breathable polyspandex. Whether you're a kart or sim racer, Minus 273 gives you the control to reach victory lane. For more information on Minus 273's full line of gloves and apparel, visit www.273.biz. Don't forget to also use LHRS for 25% off all orders. And here we are with our series details. Season 8 of the Lionheart IndyCar Series, round 5 of 20 total this year with 3 driver drops. Of course, we're using the Dallara IR18. The setups are fixed, but they've been adjusted. And we're working on cash and prizes for the season, totaling $10,721.
That is a nice little bit of kitty there to go after. You know what? You talked briefly about the weather. Look at that beautiful Michigan sky pushing down on the speedway. Let's look at it now. Richie, what do you think as far as how it affects? Holy moly, I see one number that sticks out.
122-degree track temp. Boy, that's going to give these tires a beating, so pit strategy is going to come into play for sure.
My goodness, that is egg cooking temperature there. All right, all the business is out of the way. We have a little bit of extra time to play with here today as we have 5 extra minutes in pre-race show for you. We said 15 minutes. We're going to give you 20 minutes on the Sim Experience Countdown to Green. Practice going on right now. Let's take a look and see who's quick out there. Adam Frazier, Brian Carey sitting up top. Of course, these times are a little bit, can be deceiving because a lot of it has to do with the toe, right, Rich?
Everything has to do with the toe here. So you can gain a couple of seconds just by picking it just right. So practice times aren't going to mean much. Some people are in the pack. Some people are working maybe just on their own. So the real times will come out when we start qualifying. A couple minutes here.
I was watching practice, and of course, they have a little more fun in practice than they do in the race, but I was seeing 3, even 4 wides sometimes. Michigan, I guess, give you a lot of racing lines.
Yeah, you can run the bottom, especially early on. You can run the middle, and you can definitely run the top. So I did a practice race with these guys earlier in the week with their challenge series, and it seemed like, the middle groove was probably the groove you wanted, but you can make some moves around the outside, but it really just comes down to kind of timing the draft, and you can get boxed in pretty easily too if you can get a draft on somebody. But if somebody boxes you in, you have nowhere to go. That's where kind of the pack tightens up, and that's where we get ourselves in trouble.
Talk about racing the bottom. I did a little research for today's event by watching the 1998 U.S. Michigan 500, one that you talked about earlier. There was one driver who was consistently going below the white line to make passes. You know who that was? It was you, Richie. Boy, you were not scared to go low there.
Well, you got the momentum. You got to go for it. Now, these guys have rules in place here that you cannot go below the white line until the final lap or so. So we probably won't be seeing that. They'll give these guys some warning if they start doing that. But, yeah, I remember that. They kept commenting on that I was going down below the white line, but why not?
Look, if they had grass there, you might have gone a little bit lower. Adam Frazier still sitting at the top with Brian Carey in qualifying. Sage Karam has had a busy weekend. He raced in the 24-hour of Nürburgring simulation. He was over doing the NBC IndyCar event, had some trouble there. He said it was pretty beat. He said, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get enough energy to come and race. Well, he's here. Sitting third in practice.
He's had a busy weekend with that race, and then he did the IndyCar race, and I saw he had trouble in both of those races. Had trouble gridding up in the IndyCar race, and then I think he got taken out in the 24-hour
Yeah,
So I'm sure he's hoping for a good run here today.
I don't think it was so much the stamina that was getting him. It was just the mental stamina of being taken out twice in events that he had practiced for. That's got to be brutal. Yes, you can't go to the hospital and the cars don't cost any money, but boy, Richie, you do pay a lot as far as practice time, and it is discouraging when things go wrong after investing so much time for an event.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously no money involved, but you spend, I ran the 24-hour race and I probably put 30 hours of practice of my time. And, so I mean, you got a lot invested, and when things don't go right, you're just as disappointed. I mean, sure, you get over it a little bit quicker because it's not your career or your livelihood, but still, you're just as disappointed. And same thing when you win. I mean, you put a lot of effort in, and you're pleased when you win. So I can understand how he feels.
Practice is over, qualifying going on right now. Sometimes qualifying very important, especially when we're at a road course. Maybe with 500 miles and passing going to be so easy here, maybe qualifying not quite as precious right now. Although you don't want to be too far back, because you get back in it, you can get in it.
Yeah, I mean, you always think, well, I'll just start in the back and play it easy, but then that means all the wrecks are happening in front of you, and you have to get your way through it. Really, you just got to go out there and run and try not to overthink it. Sometimes when you overthink it, that's when you put yourself in a bad position. So these guys are going to be swapping positions all week, all night, or all afternoon long here. So wherever they start, and just go racing.
You can see at the top that Joe Hassard, former winner, put in the fastest lap. That was short-lived, as that has been changed now. There's Bart Workman, a veteran.
Yeah, we got Scotty Johnson up on the point at the moment. 32.8. It's going to be real close on these times as we get near the end. A lot of guys have not gone out yet. And there's Damon Martinez on our screen. He's going to go below that white line just on the last lap there, shorten the track up. It's going to put him second at the moment. So he's only 0.02 of a second behind Joe Hassard.
Speaking of Joe Hassard, I want you to take that time serious, ladies and gentlemen, watching this one. He's a former winner, and he is always good here at Michigan. He has a win here, a second before that one. Him and Brian Yazlik, I think, are your two favorites here today. There's James Krahula. Take a look at James. Let's go back and look at James's car real quick there, director, as we leave here. James is kind of going, he's always, guys, takes a contrary look. He's going with no sponsors on his car today. Just a beautiful yellow machine for him. We'll have another look at that one later. Hey, the Watchman, Mark Cohn, making it to the top of the chart.
Yeah, Mark Cohn. Look at Samuel Ryman as well, sitting second. Look how tight those times are. 0.02 of a second, 0.06 of a second, 7, 8, 9 thousandths of a second. So very tight field. We'll see where these guys end up. We got Stefan Larkamp up online. Sage is the last car to run here.
There's Sage Karam. He's still looking to put in a time. Chris Stouffer, another former winner, moves to the top, bumping down Mark Cohn and Samuel Ryman. Again, they go down again as Tyler Graff makes his way up, sitting outside of row one right now, tentatively. There's James Krahula in that yellow machine without any sponsors. I like it. One of the hacker guys. That's Ken. There's Sage. Some big names yet to put in times. Michael Goodman still looking to get a time in. Defending champion Adam Blocker yet to put in a qualifying time.
Yeah, some of these guys might elect to just maybe start in the back,
There's that familiar blue color of Adam Blocker.
Yep, two-time champion here. Back to back too.
You can see how he takes it down low, I guess, to get the quicker to the start finish line there. Ooh, that's not good. 33.5. Have a catch. Andrew Kinsella, car number 41, now moves to the top. All right, Blocker didn't like that first one. That was the warm-up. It was an official one, but that's his first lap. I think he's going to be faster on this one.
Yeah, it takes a
Out
lap.
of 4.
It takes a lap to wind him up, so it's the second lap that counts, and you can see him go down to the shortest distance around the tri-oval there, and where's that going to put him?
Going to put him well down the order in 29th spot. The number 1 car not doing quite so good today. Plenty of time to do it. The Candyman did not put in a qualifying time, as did Adam Frazier. All right, let's go to the grid right now, as I think everybody's done. I'll take it a row at a time. It's Have a Catch. Andrew Kinsella sitting on top with Tony Schowen outside of him. Richie?
Yeah, next up in row 2 will be Chris Stouffer and Jay Brandt.
Jay Brandt is here today. You know what? He is making his, his 25th start, a silver anniversary for Jay Brandt. Good to see him doing so well. Let's move along here. We got Tyler Graff sitting in the 5th spot with George Anzaldo outside of him.
Yeah, Mark Cohn and Samuel Ryman bringing up 7th and 8th position.
A lot of letters in these next 2 names. Stefan Larkamp and Brandon Limkeman go 9th and 10th.
Joe Hassert starting 11th. Brian Beard starting 12th.
The Baker Studdard spot is the New York driver Michael Goodman, with our top rookie Joshua Chin flanking him.
Darren Ganji starting 15th. Next in will be Damon Martinez.
Another rookie, Nathan Lewis, is going to be inside of our points leader, Connor Harrington, who sits in 18th.
Yeah, it's Sage Karam, not the best starting spot for him, but he'll be up front early, starting 19th, and right next to him will be Ken Hacker.
Hitting blackjack in the Moby Stickies machine, car number 66, Justin Weaver. He's flanked by Mike Rigney.
Ryan Yazek sitting in the 23rd spot, and next to him will be Jason Galvin.
25th and 26th is filled by Bart Workman and Ron Hacker.
Well, behind them will be Chris Lanini and Joe Branch.
Two-time and defending champion Adam Blocker in car number 1 and 29th. He's going to be inside of James Krahula in that fluorescent yellow machine.
Starting 31st will be Brian Greenlee, and next to him will be Brian Carey.
Scotty Johnson, Adam Frazier, and the Candyman Dustin Wardlow make up 33rd, 34th, and 35th. 35 names today. Good size field for a Sunday. Boy, that's a pretty shot. Look at those cars parked in parking lot formation there.
Yeah, someone did a good job lining them up. I kind of like the way they do that on some of the tracks here in iRacing. They line them up instead of just on the track, line them up in the way they do it in real life.
That's pretty, and they start to roll. Give us an opportunity to talk about our 4 onboard cameras that we have for you today. As they begin to roll around the track, 500 miles in store for us. Look at that beautiful shot. That is pretty. All right, let's go ahead and look at car number 11. It's the Joe Hassert HyperX machine. He's a winner here. Whatever you play, however you play, HyperX knows we're all gamers. Use promo code LionHRT15 at hyperxgaming.com. How about the number 9 machine of Dustin Wardlow, the Candyman, and the Sim Experience onboard camera? Second only to the real thing, simexperience.com. The number 73, we got Brandon Lipkeman in the first medical equipment onboard camera. Your source for medical supplies and equipment in the Burlington, Iowa area. And number 42, Jason Galvin in the butt kicker onboard camera. Feel what you've been missing. Use promo code LION2020 at thebuttkicker.com. Out of the corner number 4, Elizabeth Berkley of Saved by the Bell and Showgirls fame. Michigan's own in the pace truck today, brings it in, giving control of the field to our pole sitter. Andrew Kinsella is on the gas, and we're all gamers, and HyperX is always ready to game. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. Kinsella leads them down into the first corner.
Yeah, look at that pack. 35 cars. They're already starting to go single file, but you're going to see them go down that back stretch. And we're going to have a challenge for the lead here as Tony Schoen's going to go to the inside. He's going to try to bring along. Looks like Chris Stouffer with him as well as they go into turn 3.
Out of the fourth corner for the first time. Is there going to be a challenge for the lead? Nope. Kinsella's going to hold it. Now they start to fan out. Stouffer in the middle. Kinsella going up high.
3 wide on the outside with Kinsella. He's going to fade back to make it too wide. It gets a little bit tight off that corner. If you're not careful, you can clip that outside wall. But as we go down the back straightaway, you're starting to form two lines here. You can see that outside line getting a little bit momentum, but the inside line is going to be the shortest distance around. As you'll see, Tony's showing, he's not going to get it. Chris Stover's going to be the leader as they cross the line, but here comes Andrew Kinsella back on the outside.
2 laps in, 2 laps of green flag racing. Samuel Ryman races up in 4th. On the inside, he is flanked by Jay Brandt.
Single file up high, going into turn 3, and they fan out a little bit. You want to try to get some air on the front of that car, keep those front tires from scrubbing too much speed. So you'll see him fan out a little bit. There goes Samuel Ryman trying to fight his way to the outside line, and he does. He's going to get right in between. Basically, yeah.
Looking back off the tail of our leader. Duck into the inside. There goes Havaketch. Kinsella now has the momentum to take that lead. That's Joe Hasser trying to keep the car low. I was urging to drift up into Stouffer.
Here comes Stouffer back around the inside of Andrew Kinsella. We're going to see this all day long. There's really no way to just kind of hold the lead. It'll be a little different once the tires start to wear off, especially with those temperatures. But right now, everybody's got a good handling car, so it's just going to kind of leapfrog back and forth. These guys just need to keep it clean.
Director, I want to go to car number 2 if we could, Sage Karam. He's our hard charger. Started in 19th, racing now in 8th position. He's on the inside. The car just ahead of him, that's the Pennsylvania driver, Stephen Larkham. See him up there as Larkham gets in there. Go, Rich.
We knew he was going to move his way up there. He's pretty aggressive, especially at the start. So unless he got caught up in a wreck, I'm going to expect him to be up in the top 3 to 4 fairly soon. And since he's done this in real life, he kind of knows how to feel. You just got to find the flow. It's kind of like driving in traffic, and you just see which lane is going, and you try to find where you can find that spot.
Boy, the action up front is intense.
Christopher back to the front here. Now, who does he have? A car number 11 of Joe Hasser trying to go down to the bottom. You can see Chris squeezing a little bit. Then they'll open up coming off the corner. We got Andrew Kinsella. Now, this is what I was talking about. He's kind of blocked in. He has nowhere to go, so he's just going to have to check up a little bit. And then he's going to go search to the outside lane as Christopher goes down to the middle lane.
And again, I don't mean to do a little home cooking here, but a little attention to the car number 63. Great run by Samuel Ryman. He begins to lose a little bit on the inside. He races now in 6th position. Tony Schowen to his outside. Sam usually, you may see him at the back Markers United meeting from time to time. He's doing a great job racing up front.
Well, that's what happens when you start 8th instead of 28th. You
Right.
run up front all day long. So, for some of these guys, qualifying does help them. And they can just sit up front the rest of the race. So nice job to him so far. We're side by side across the line. And you're going to give it still to Chris Stover, but Joe Hasser is right down on the bottom. Now they're really fanning out. Joe Hasser taking a short line. Oh.
We have a trouble. It's a big one. It started with Connor Harrington, your point leader. Oh my goodness. But the real action is going to be if we can get on Jason Galvin. Oh my gosh, he was not first. Now it starts with Harrington first. Watch Galvin as he gets caught up in it and then goes for a ride. Hope you took your Dramamine. Cars involved in that one. Galvin, Lewis, Ganji. Oh, poor Darren Ganji involved in it. Can we get an onboard when we get another chance? Let's go onboard with Chris Lanini, car number 92. All right. This will give you a look at what happened.
And after watching it, it looked like, Connor checked up a little bit. He got blocked in, and Darren tapped the back of his car, which spun him around and then basically caused everything.
be the driver you choose your lane to go.
Yeah, I mean, you have nowhere to go here, and there it goes. Whoop, right through. There you go. Just pick a lane and go. But I don't know if we can get on board with, if we can do another replay with, I want to get on board with Darren Ganji. I think that's kind of what causes this. And you'll see Connor Harrington check up and doesn't have time as everybody's coming down pit lane, but this replay coming up. There you go. You can see that how everybody just kind of accordions up, and fortunately, just tight quarters. This unfortunately just pack racing. This is going to happen. All right, pit stops are happening.
If Darren Ganji didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all, right? I mean, gee.
Yeah, it's just bad luck, and just the way it goes sometimes. Nobody's fault. Pit stops are happening. Looks like everybody's jumping in, take advantage of this.
Yeah. Everybody but one. Tyler Graf staying out there. Now, Tyler was racing up front. This is not a guy who was sitting in back looking to get some bonus points for leading a lap. I think he's going to stay up here and lead a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's risky because, if he has to pit under green, he's going to lose a lap. So he's going to need another yellow. So we'll see what happens. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't.
With only 10 laps on the tires, Richie, I have to assume that tires are important here, especially, I guess, with a 122-degree track tip.
That is absolutely right. But also, I mean, they could very easily do, 50 or 60 laps without a yellow. So looks like we're going to come into green here. So we'll get started, but we'll see. And here we go. Green flag.
Elizabeth Berkeley pulls it in. Gather up the chickens, they covering on the cows. We're racing. Lap number 12. It is Tyler Graf out in front. Joe Hassard in second. Stouffer in third. Kinsella. And Jay Brandt continues to race up front. Karam is up into seventh now. We watched him climb up. Look at the difference here. We start single file. My goodness, they are stretched out.
There you go, Joe Hassard to the lead. You can see the fresh tires. He can go right down along the bottom without scrubbing any speed. Tyler Graf's going to try to do the same thing. And here comes Chris Stouffer. They're gapping out a little bit to the pack behind them. But those guys trained right by Joe Hassard. Tyler Graf was in the lead briefly. Christopher's now going to be in the lead. And here comes Joe Hassard. This is also bringing the other cars back into the fold.
Chris Stouffer, former winner here at Michigan. Joe Hassard, former winner here at Michigan. And I guess experience means something. So much for that single file as now the draft comes into effect. They're all 2x2. With a huge run is Andrew Kinsella, their pole sitter.
Yeah, he's made up that gap and goes to second, and now he's going to go to take the lead from Christopher. Sorry, Tyler Graf. No, sorry, Joe Hassard. This guy's changing so much, I'm losing track.
Indeed. Boy. They put in practice time, but it is scary.
Look who's going to lead. Look who's going to lead is Sage Karam. 19th, started 19th, back to the front. So now he's got clean air in front of him. Andrew Kinsella. Now it's just going to leapfrog each other. There's no way to hold it, but it's nice to get up front and have nobody in front of you for a part of the lap.
Let's drop back to car number 55. Another winner, Brian Yazik. A hard charger, up from 23rd position, races in 12th right now. He's on the inside, has Brian Beard to the outside, just ahead of him, Tyler Graf. But Yazik continue to work the inside. I guess he likes the inside lane right now. Well, the tires are fun. He's going to drive it down low. Riding on board with the 55. He gets a good tow, and now he makes Tyler Graf is now in his rearview mirror as he rides behind Samuel Ryman. The 63 continues to race up front. Ryman in ninth. And look to the outside there as Ryman pulls up. That driver that's just ahead, that's George Anzaldo in car number 6, having a good run, racing in 9th.
Yeah, he had a good qualified spot. Nice to see him up there in the top 10. He has a lot of bad luck, so we'll see if he can get to the end. But Andrew Kinsella and Sage Karam going back and forth, leapfrogging each other for the lead. So we'll put Andrew Kinsella back up front. Everybody in the back doing their thing. Oh, we got a little contact there with I don't know who was in that orange car. A little bit of contact. Nobody's off the track. I think that was Samuel. I think that was Ryman in the 63. Got a little contact with somebody. I don't know who it was, but he's starting to speed a little bit.
Just give you an update on the drivers who had to quit. Connor Harrington, Nathan Lewis, Darren Ganji, and Jason Galvin. A couple big names there that includes your point leader.
Back to the front, Sage Karam back to the lead around Andrew Kinsella. They've got Christopher in that chrome-looking car.
Hey, how about the guy? Look at the guy in the white and blue car up on top. It's our rookie, Josh Chin, now in 4th with a run. Oh, boy, he gets a really close coming out of 4. You're going to see a lot of lead changes going on up there.
Yeah, we got
Kinsella now stuck up top.
Yeah, he's stuck up top. That's not too bad. You know, you kind of just riding along. You kind of lose the momentum a little bit, and then you come back for it. So it's not too bad. We've got a long ways to go. Sage Karam in the lead, but here comes Christopher down to the low end. Here comes Josh Chin down on the low end. Andrew Kinsella up high. I'm like Andrew. I like running that high line, then right down on the bottom. And here comes Sage Karam back to the front. Got some players up front here with Karam, Chin, and Kinsella all dancing around in that top 5.
The driver who stayed out, who did not take a pit stop, Tyler Groff in car number 26. He's now fallen back into 12th spot. I guess it's okay. Not quite sure that's a strategy I would use.
No, and you know, unless a yellow flag doesn't come out, he's going to have to pit on his own and lose a lap, so he'll have to work hard to make that back up. Here on board with Joe Hasser. Joe doing a good job there, starting 11th, running 3rd. Josh Chin's bringing the outside lane, going around him, and he's bringing Kinsella with him. Up front, Christopher and Sage Karam now are switching the lead. Christopher going down to the... Go ahead, Sue.
Let's go look at car number 1. He's car number 1 because he's the defending champion. It's Adam Blocker back in 22nd. Just taking his time. He's got Justin Weaver to the outside and Bart Workman. You got to assume a two-time champion. He knows how to race this. He's just being patient.
Yeah, I mean, we got, he's very patient. He knows he's got a long ways to go, so he's just probably trying to be careful. He's not as aggressive as, let's say, Sage is on those starts. So he's probably happy just to be running there. He's just got to keep his eyes open, make sure he doesn't get caught up in anything.
Nice battle we're looking on going on in front of him there. They get that sort of, that continues to fan out now. The car on the low side, that's Lanini. That's the dark car, just getting ahead of Branch. Then those two cars that are side by side, the one on the low car is the rookie Adam Frazier. On the top side, Brian Carey. Little bit of gap here, and now there you see him going too wide again, ducking to the inside. That's Branch getting to the inside of Chris Lanini. How about a shout out to Joe Branch, making his 100th start today. Platinum anniversary for Joe. There you see him up. Started in 18th position, has fallen a little bit.
Well, he started 28. He's up to 18.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Richie. I can do the math. Have my ups and downs mixed up. In the Wicks machine, that's Karam getting passed by Stouffer.
And you can see on that long shot, two distinctive packs starting to emerge out there. So we have this group of about 12 to, well, more than that. Looks like about half the field, 15 cars or so in the lead group, and the rest of them in the second group. Up front, Sage Karam going back to the lead around Chris Stouffer down on the bottom. Chin, Hassert, and Kinsella kind of just fanning out a little bit, holding steady in that third, fourth, and fifth position. Here comes Stouffer down to the low side of Karam as they go back and forth.
Boy, that's a good camera shot. I love that one, the wide angle. You can really see what's going on. There's Chin in the white and blue car up high. Hard to look at Chin without thinking about the rookie championship. Juna, yes, he can. Capatti not here today, so drop races are going to come into effect for them. That's Kinsella back there watching right behind the blue and white car of Chin. You know, we haven't talked about the race analysis. How far do we have to go? How far can we go? Well, we talked about it's a 500-mile race. That's 250 miles. What's the stint? 38 laps. Right now, we're about on lap 28, so we'll be there, I'd say about 11 or 12 with the yellow flag. And, of course, all the 20 incidents. You pick up 20 incidents and you are DQ'd and you lose 10 points. If you manage to pick up 20 incidents here in Michigan, I think you should get bonus points.
Right.
Kind of hard to do.
You should be able to save about, ooh, man, that was close. Hassert and Chin real close in between 1 and 2. And they calmly get out of it, but that was tight.
The driver that will be pulling off first will be Tyler Graf. Remember, he decided to stay out.
Yeah, you could probably do about, for the yellow flag laps, you gain about 2 laps for every one. So let's say he can go to lap 40, 42, 41, 42 if he's been saving in the draft. We'll kind of keep an eye on that. He's fallen to the back of this group. He probably realizes he's going to save some fuel, otherwise he's going to be in trouble. And here goes Josh Chin down to the inside. Looks like Josh is going to try to take the lead from Sage Karam. I don't know if he'll be able to make it happen, but he did go down to the bottom of
the line.
And it looks like it's going to be Karam is holding the lead.
By 3 1,000ths, but now Chin on the inside will have a little bit shorter way around. He's out of front right now. I want to talk about car number 99, racing back in 7th position, up about a handful. This is the New York driver, Michael Goodman, having a nice run. He ducks down underneath, going below the 15th of Jay Brandt.
So I'm surprised that you have such a gap between Tyler Groff and 16th spot and then Chris Lanini in 17th spot. It's 6.7 seconds. It's pretty far. So we've got 2 distinct packs cut right down the middle, basically.
Look at that front pack. You got Samuel Ryman in 15th, and hanging on to it is Tyler Groff. He's about 15 car lengths behind Ryman, but I still in the tow for now. He's going to have to make that pit stop. But then you said it, Richie. It's a long way. 4.5 seconds back to Chris Sleepy Lanini in that second pack.
And that second pack is battling just as hard as the front pack. We got Justin Weaver on that second pack. He's going to try to go around Chris Lanini, but these guys are battling just as hard. We're on that second pack right here. You can see they're going 3 wide. That yellow-looking car there, James Krahula, going 3 wide. And now he's going to get blocked in, but these guys are racing they're not taking it easy, so they know there's a long ways to go, but boy, I'm sure they're wishing that they were up into that front pack.
Love that yellow car. Now, there goes the yellow car through the middle, like Odysseus between the devil and the deep blue sea. That is James Krahula. Woo, that was fun.
All right, working lap 34. Working lap 34, we're going to keep an eye on Tyler Groff. I just say he's going to probably about lap 42, 43, roughly. It's going to be my guess. But he's going to be a lone soldier if we don't get a yellow flag.
Just to follow up, Justin Weaver got loose, and man, he dropped a ton of positions. Let's look at car number 66 right now. He was leading, or up near the front of that second pack. He's now fallen way back to 26. Racing with Workman. Brian is not easy being Greenlee back there. Brandon Limpkeman. And one more car back. You can see that familiar blue machine. That's Adam Blocker. Somebody better do a DNA test on the driver in that car. That doesn't look like Adam Blocker.
Yeah, he is started 29th, running 30th. He's the last car, not a lap down. So he's basically running dead last on the track right now.
Director, do we have the camera that actually shows the driver's face? I want to make sure it's Blocker in there. I don't know if we have that one.
He's definitely taking it easy. Oh, there you go. There's his face. You can see his eyes through the shield. He's focused.
He's got the screen down, though, see? Huh? Sitting back there. Back up front. Who we got? Well, right now they've decided it's Stouffer's turn to lead.
Yeah.
It's
kind of singling out a little bit. I think they're getting a little bit of tire wear. We're working lap 26 since their last pit stop. So it's probably getting a little bit of wear. I can see Sage is struggling a little bit to hold it down on the bottom. He's fading up to the top, but Christopher's doing a good job holding on line. Starting third, running first. And he's got Karen and Josh Chin right behind him with Andrew Kinsella, our pole sitter, hanging in there in fourth spot.
Graf in 16th stays out. Remember, he did not pit, the only driver who chose not to. We said the pit window was 38 laps. He had a couple yellow flag laps in there. I think, about 4 or 5, so you can probably go to 42.
Yeah, I'm going to say 42 to 44. But you can save, it might even be longer. You can save a lot of fuel in the draft. You can run around half throttle almost and stay in the pack. So this will give us a good idea of how far you really can go if you're not leading.
Something to mark down, all you soldiers and Soup's clipboard army. How far can you go if you save? That can come into effect as we get near the end. Get to lap 210 with 40 to go. Can you get there?
I think you could
lap
do 50.
208?
I think you could do probably 50 laps if you're really concerned. And you get some yellow flags.
The setup is 100% fuel this race compared to the race with reduced fuel for most of the races, but not for a full 500. Going to drop back and look at James Krahula and Wardlow in that battle. There goes Krahula underneath.
And this is basically the lead for that second pack. As Krahula is going to take the lead, that puts him in 17th spot. But if it...
Going to ride on board with Dustin Wardlow. In the DeWars candy machine, he goes underneath now as they continue to do a little bit of dipsy-doo, a little square dancing going on as they swap positions once or twice each lap.
And Tyler Groff is in the pit, so we're at lap 41. When we say 42, he decided to come in, but he's going to lose a lap here, so he's going to be lone man standing. Here comes the pack. The second pack's coming around. Groff is out of the pits.
Right now, Tyler Graff, not a fan of ribbons around old oak trees and rivers in China. He does not want to see a yellow right now. He needs this thing to say green and have everybody pit, and he'll get his lap back.
You see he blends out. Here comes that second pack, so he's going to fall back a lap down into that second pack. So that strategy not working out so good at the moment. So was able to do 42 laps there. We were pretty much, that's what we guessed at.
And you got to figure if he could have done more, he would have done more, because this is nothing that he wants right now.
And here's that second pack with Dustin Wardlow on the inside, James Krahula on the outside. They're going to single file up here, but they're going to come on up to Tyler Graff and swallow him up here in a second.
Maybe it's just the lack of adrenaline now that we're working at lap 43, but Richie, I think it's more about the tires. You can see things are a little more conservative than they were opening up.
Yeah, after doing my the race I did, I got about 20 some odd laps out of the where the tires were pretty good, and after that, you really had to pedal it in the corner, especially at least for me, turns 3 and 4. I really had to get off the gas, otherwise that front end would wash all the way up. So I think we're starting to see that a little bit. As you can see with those fresh tires, Tyler Graf is actually able to stay quite a distance ahead of these guys.
He did go a lap down, though. He is a lap down.
He is a lap down, but
to the first group, yeah.
But we are working lap 34, the last
Right.
last guys that ran. So see what these guys can do as far as they're going to have to start pitting fairly soon. So he might get a chance to get that lap back.
It will be fun to see how he slots out in relationship to like Samuel Ryman, who was ahead of him by about 5 or 6 car lengths when he came in. And Mark Cohn racing in 13th, Larkamp and Ryman back there a little bit farther. Up front, they continue to this kind of swap for position, but you can see they're more single file now, which Richie, I think, will make a pit stop time a little easier if these guys are not running too wide.
Yeah, and they do pit off of turn 4, so it's a little bit tricky. You got a not very long to get slowed down for about 220. Down to about, I think pit speed limiter is 55, I think. And so we might see some wrecks, people checking up and getting on the brakes. It's a pretty narrow pit lane, so we'll have to keep an eye on that when we get closer.
In that lead group, there are 2 cars that have worked their way through. Sage Karam, he started in 19th. He's able to race up front with the leaders. And Brian Yazik, former winner in 23rd, started in 23rd, racing in 7th. Look how experience matters. Yazik, a former winner in 7th. And there's a car pulling off the pit. We got Hazard coming in, a former winner. Yazik comes right behind him. The Watchman.
A couple of takers. Meanwhile, the top 3 or 4 staying out. Stouffer, Brandt, Kinsella, and Karam staying out at the moment. Might see them come in on the next round.
So Tyler Graf, the driver who stayed out, he's just heading into corner number 3 right now. And leaders, the guys who pitted, they're just beginning to roll.
Yeah, these guys are gonna want to come in, because what happens is they're running slower lap times, and these guys are gonna do basically the undercut. They're gonna come out, get up to speed, and their first couple of laps on new tires are gonna be quite a bit quicker. So these guys are going to want to come in. I know they're hoping for a yellow flag, but eventually you just lose too much track position.
Hazard sorts out right
like
in
Tyler
that path.
Graf is coming in. Looks like he's going to bring Sage Karam with him. Kinsella and Brandt stay out. So it's interesting to see. We're not seeing everybody come in at the same time, just kind of little groups here.
Krahula coming back out onto the track. Richie, it's interesting. You lose about a lap and a tick more, I think, is what a pit stop costs you.
Yeah, it costs you, just a little bit more than a lap. Graf and Karam are heading out.
Stouffer is first out of pit lane out of that group. Schowen goes around. Brandt goes around. So that's Hazard. Hazard is in 18th. He's the leader of all the cars who've made that pit stop. Yazik behind him. Stouffer cycles out about a second behind Yazik and Hazard.
We got Adam Blocker coming into the pit lane. I want to see where Tyler Graf is.
Oh, and James Krahula. Can we get a replay on this, Director? About 30 seconds ago, James Krahula, he's one of our... He got into the back of Brian Greenlee, put the car in the wall. Here we go. Watch as he comes up on Greenlee here. I believe this is Greenlee right in front of him. Might be out of this next one. Krahula was having a good run. see if we get it. It might be coming up right here. That looks like Greenlee slipping up. Watch this. He gets up into him, catches the tire, then bounces it off the wall. Lost a lot of momentum, but the car continues.
Yeah, it looks like his car is still in good shape, so he got away with one, but he did lose a lot of momentum.
Okay. All right. Jay Brandt pits from the lead. Samuel Ryman pits from the lead up front.
And here comes the pack. They're going to go right on by him. Picking up Sage Karam. Sitting in third at the moment. He's got Christopher right behind him, so kind of back to where we were.
And actually now I believe our leader, after all that is said and done, is the number 55 of Brian Yazik.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and look our profile driver. No time better than when he sits out front. 85 races under his belt, leading his 86th start today. He's got 3 wins. One of those was right here in Michigan. First start was back at Motegi. Got his first win at Phoenix. Interesting thing about Yazik. He is 7th overall in laps led, 17th in laps races entered. So you can tell that, boy, when he races, he gets up front.
And I want to point something out here that Yazik and Hassert were the first 2 to pit. And you can see how much speed they gained. They did a big undercut, and now they're up in the front. And then Sage Karam and Christopher pitted next. And it's these 4 that are separated themselves way out from the pack. And those guys that hung out there, I know they're waiting for a yellow, but they were losing so much lap time that you can see the separation. I kind of made the same mistake in the race that I did. And that's why I was kind of interested to see what would happen as I stayed out and waited and waited and waited. But I was losing so much speed that when I finally did come out, basically, I was out of the pack. And you got to remember at 220 miles an hour, you're traveling 100 yards a second. So if you're a lap slower, they were losing 100 yards every lap. That's a lot.
Look at that camera shot there. Let's play the Sesame Street game. 3 of these things belong together. One of these things is not the same. You got Yazik, Hassert, Karam, and Stouffer. Anyone want to play? The guy who is not the same, Sage Karam. He is the only driver of those 4 not to win here at Michigan. That was fun. I have no game for the next pack here, as that's Joshua Chin, our top rookie, just getting underneath Michael Goodman. But how about a tip of the hat here to Damon Martinez? Haven't talked much about him racing in 7th.
Yeah, those pit stops really spread the field out. We got those 4 up front, and then we got a group of about 6, and then a single car, and then another group. Instead of 2 distinct packs, everybody's separated out a little bit. So getting that on, and whoever got on the pit lane and got off pit lane the best was able to make up the most time.
2.6 seconds from Karam back to right now is Joshua Chin, leader of that second group. That also includes Jay Brandt, Martinez, Mark Cohn, and Tony Schowen. I don't want to be too cavalier about what's going on up front, but you got to figure 3 of these guys are race winners. They're going to pass for the lead here and not get into each other. Hassert, Yazik now, Stouffer, and watching the whole thing, Karam.
Yeah, Karam's just kind of sitting behind these 3, watching them go back and forth. He's probably looking at the fuel run here, so just save some fuel. The other pack is trying to catch back up, although they're about 2.6 seconds back, so it's about the same as it was.
Again, mark it down on your clipboard. The 2 drivers that pitted 2 laps earlier, you heard Richie talk about it. It was Yazik and Hassert.
Yeah, Yazik and Hassert, and then Karam and Stouffer pitted on the same lap. So
right.
all these guys were one of our earlier stops.
Let's go back and look at car number 41. It's Andrew Kinsella. He was racing up front for a while. Got shuffled back in the pit stops. He's back in 12th position. We talked about Tyler Graff. He's on that alternate strategy. He's in 13th. Dropped back another position right behind him. There's George Anzaldo. Brian Beard in 50th, and Samuel Ryman was racing up front for a while. He's now back in 16th, about 5 seconds behind the leaders.
Yeah, Samuel Ryman was up front, got almost into the side of somebody, lost some momentum. But he's still up there. George Anzaldo doing a good job. Tyler Graff is he's got his lap back as those guys pitted as well, but he's all the way back in 13th, so about where he was. He was at the back of that that lead group, but now there's a small group and a medium-sized group.
28 cars on the lead lap. Director, I want to go back to car number 09. This is Bart Workman. He's in there racing with Mike Rigney. These guys are the last cars on the lead lap. They're about 18 seconds behind the leaders right now, but they're doing a nice job of just working together, staying out of trouble, trying to go as fast as they can. Not in any jeopardy of going a lap down, and when a yellow comes out, they'll be right caught up with everybody. They might be the smartest two guys on the track right now. Whee, as we ride on board. That was Bart Workman going underneath Rigney. Streaming into cyberspace into your place on the iRacing Esports Network. This is the Global Sim Racing Channel's Round 5 coverage of the Lionheart IndyCar Series. Double points, 500 miles. It's a Triple Crown race. Chris Stouffer, your leader right now.
Yeah, so far just one yellow. Pretty big wreck in the back, but one yellow. We're working lap 65 of 250 total laps. We have a group of 4 leading out front, and then a separation of 3 seconds back to Michael Goodman leading that second pack. Looks like that goes all the way down to 16th position with Samuel Ryman hanging on the back of that pack. And we got another group, the rest of the pack, basically, starting with Adam Blocker. He's made his way up a little bit. He was running 29th earlier, but now he's up to 17th ahead of James Krahula there, as you see on screen. But he's got about 5 seconds to get up to that next group. But he's keeping it clean. I'm sure we'll be talking about him when we get closer to the end.
There goes Krahula underneath. You saw Krahula put the car on the wall. The car looks fine. You got to wonder if you're Adam Blocker, you start to get worried a little bit. When's the yellow going to come out to get me up there? We have no comparison as you see the pass for the lead. Stouffer now going around Hazard, the 2 former winners continuing to swap positions. The farthest they've ever gone is 200 miles, but they have done that under green flag one time. In fact, they've gone 0 yellow flags, 2 yellow flags a couple times. So Michigan and the Lionheart IndyCar Series has a reputation of being fairly clean as we ride on board with Big Chuck Hazard and that HyperX onboard camera.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier on the track guide, there's a lot of forgiveness on this track. It's not just one groove, so you can run a lot of different spots. All these guys in this league are kind of hand-picked, basically. They're pretty strict on who runs this lead, and they all do a good job. So I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't want to jinx this with the whole way under green flag.
Richie, you've raced here, and you've raced at Fontana or the California, the Auto Club Speedway. They're always considered, sister tracks, but California's a lot wider, right?
You know what? It's funny that you say that, and I liked Michigan. I never liked Fontana, and it's the exact same track, but I think it comes down to just the pavement. Fontana is really bumpy, so you have to pick your lines a little bit more careful. Fontana tends to be more of like a 2-groove track, whereas this track is like almost 4 grooves, and I don't know. They look the same, but they drive totally different.
Looking at Schauner, Brett. Higher taxes in California, too. That may have something to do with it. We look at this battle going on. That's Showen on the low side, Brandt on the top line, Andrew Kinsella watching. The kind of, I'm going to guess colors, kind of orangey gold and black machine there of the Watchman, Mark Cohn, car number 39.
He's going down to the yellow line. His tires are still fairly fresh. He can hold that white line or yellow line without scrubbing too much speed. We got Jay Brandt leading these guys. Well, actually, he's got David Martinez and Michael Goodman leading this group. But go back to Jay Brandt. These guys are fanning out a little bit, trying to get some clean air. But I think we're at this point in the race where everybody's just kind of, they're finding where they want to run, and they're just kind of taking it easy and not really fighting too hard for what they need.
One of the last cars in that mix, you saw at the very top of the screen on that long angle shot, car number 93, Joshua Chin. Boy, he must have had a bad stop. I'll go ahead and look at timing and scoring, see if I can figure out what happened there. He was racing up front, but now he is out of the mix totally, back in 16th. Boy, the time is normal from what everyone else was doing, so I don't know why he ended up back there. He's racing with Tyler Graff. Remember, Tyler Graff was way at the back of the lead pack. Working lap number 72.
Yeah.
What's going on up front, Richie? We look at right now, I guess Stouffer gets the lead.
Yeah, these guys are just kind of going back and forth. Something we've seen all lap long. Christopher is now leading the point with Joe Hazard, but Joe's going to take the inside line into turn 3. Looks like we got some lap cars. They catching up to a lap car there.
That's Dustin Wardlow. He is he's 1 lap down, so he's looking to go 2 laps down. The Candyman not having the run he was hoping for. They're going to go on board with the Candyman. You can look off the back. Here they come, Candyman.
And Dustin Wardlow must have got a speeding penalty because his pit stop was 50 seconds long. So that's what dropped him down to lose him. He basically had to sit there for another lap, so that's why he lost that lap.
We showed you the last cars on the lead lap. We don't need to go there. It is still Workman and Rigney, and they continue to waltz.
Pick leaders there going side by side with Chris Stover's in front. That's for second and third, Joe Hasser and Brian Yazik. Sage Karam has decided he doesn't want to lead. So he is deciding to play a fuel-saving game. And here's the thing. You save fuel, and even if you come in at the same time, you have to take less fuel. So you can leapfrog these guys because that's usually what you're waiting for is the fuel fill. And so he's decided just to hang out.
I think he deserves a little peace and quiet after the weekend that he has had in sim racing. He's back there just watching the 3 former winners swap positions. And actually, Yazik is kind of doing the same thing that Karam is. I haven't seen Brian get up there and mixed up. It's really been Hazard and Stouffer that have been swapping.
Yeah, Stouffer likes being out front, so he's fought pretty hard to keep it. But those other 2 guys, Yazik and Karam, just kind of hanging out. Joe's been playing around with Stouffer, but not much going on.
All right, we talked about the first group. We've talked about the second group. Let's look at the third group. And, of course, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Brian Carey going down to the inside of Adam Blocker. Adam Blocker was leading that third group. And now it's going to be Brian Carey. You got James Kahula. And here comes Adam Blocker. They're looking to catch up to that group right in front of them. You can see that Josh Chin go by in that shot. Go back a little bit farther in that group. We got Ron Hacker, Justin Weaver, Scotty Johnson, and Joe Branch fighting it out there.
Scotty Johnson with a career win in the Lionheart Series, to his credit. And again, if I'm Blocker, I gotta start to think there'll be a yellow flag. We gotta go another 180 laps, right? Gotta have a yellow flag sometime.
Well, he made up about 10 spots on that last exchange of pit stops. So
He does
Probably
have
not worried. Got a long ways to go.
he does have some stepping stones. He's only about a second behind Chin, who races in 16th. And then you can step your way to Tyler Groff, and then you can probably step your way up to Larkamp, get to the next group.
Blocker separated out a little bit from those guys behind him. Brian Carey, like I say, he's only got about a second up to Josh Chin. So he's picking up the draft at the moment. He's going to suck himself right up to Josh.
Now we are getting close. I was just going to say we're getting close to Tyler Graff needing to pit. And as the words come out of my mouth, Tyler Graff goes into pit lane. Remember, he's on that alternate strategy, the only driver who did not come in on the first yellow flag. The only yellow flag. So he's going to lose another lap. And once again, he's in the rolling the dice that this thing stays green for another dozen laps or so, and everyone will have to make a green flag pit stop.
And as we were talking, Adam Blocker got up to Josh Chin and passed him. Josh is dropping down a little bit. He's getting swallowed up by James Krahula. He was up front, so I don't know if he's just not liking the way the car's working at the moment, but he's falling back for some reason. There's no strategy falling that far back, so he's struggling a little bit with the way that car's working.
In fact, as you'll see going on right to his left, going underneath him, that was the car of Ron Hacker. Justin Weaver trying to do it as well. A little bit of dancing going on behind him. That's okay. They get that sorted out.
Yeah, Ron Hacker goes by him. Here comes Brian Carey. And Josh is just going to stay up high. So I have a feeling that the car's understeering a little bit more than he likes. He almost brushes the wall. And that's just, I think, indication he's just not happy with the way the car is working at this moment. He's just hanging on. These guys will be pitting pretty soon, though. It's about 33 laps for some of these guys, 31, 33. So
let's go to
about 7 laps.
Let's go to car number 00. This is Mike Rigney. We've talked about this, and Bart Workman. They were the last 2 cars on the lead lap. Well, they found a friend, Brandon Limpkeman. Now I want to check to see if Limpkeman has made an extra stop. Well, right on board with Limpkeman. There we go. Riding with the first medical equipment onboard camera. He's now the last car on the lead lap. He's on the same pit strategy as Rigney and Workman. I'm glad that Rigney and Workman have a...
And we got Joe Hasser. We got some people taking pit stops. We got Hasser and Yazik coming in. Stouffer and Karam stay out. So basically the same strategy as before. Those 2 guys were the first to pit last time out of the leaders. And they got themselves up front. We got Stouffer, but he's got a second and a half lead over Karam. Yazik's rolling, but Stouffer looks like he's going to go around again, and Karam.
Well, Karam was 4th in line and didn't have anything to worry about because he had 2 cars connecting him to the front. But when the cars peeled off in 2nd and 3rd, kind of lost touch with the leader. Hassard comes out right behind Yazik. You see him entering. Now here comes Goodman in 3rd and Martinez. They're going to get there, I think. Maybe not.
And looks like Stouffer's going around again, so no pit stop for him. Goodman's slowing down. Looks like he's going to take a stop. He's going to bring... Who's that behind him? Ooh, somebody behind him's going sideways into the pit lane. Almost takes out the guy behind him. That was Mark Cohn,
yeah. Right in front of Brian Beard, yeah. So our leader is Chris Stouffer with Sage Karam in 2nd. They still need to stop.
And Chris Stouffer's going around again. He's lapping Dustin Wardlow. He's going to stay out. So he's working lap 38 of his pit stop.
Goodman is rolling out of pit lane right now, but Hassard goes by, as does Yazik. Yazik in 18th, the leader of all the cars who've made their stop.
Looks like Christopher slowing down. He's going to make a pit stop, bringing Dustin Wardlow with him. Karem's going to go around again. He's decided to stay out, so he saved a lot of fuel. Like I say, he was in that pack, just sitting in the back, so he might have a couple more laps, but what kind of speed is he losing? His last lap was a 33.4, whereas Brian Yazik, what was his last lap time?
While you're looking at that, Hassard and Stouffer into corners 3, coming out of 4 right now.
So he's going around Karem right there. So just to give you an idea, Hassard was about 0.8 of a second faster than Karem that last time around. So that's how much time Karem was losing with those old tires.
And as you can see, they go around Wardlow. Let's look at Stouffer right now. Stouffer out on track, getting up to speed. Car number 13, racing in 16th position. Blowing around him are the cars of Hassard and Yazik. Stouffer trying to get that car up to speed. I think he's going to be able to stay on the back of those two drivers. Karem coming out of pit lane right now. He's going to get blown by. Karem is just rolling, but look at this. Yazik goes by, Hassard goes by, Stouffer goes by. Karem crushed with that pit stop.
Yeah, you can see how much time he lost by just staying out a little too long. So I don't know who's that right behind Chris Stouffer or Stage Karem right now.
I believe it's Wardlow. He's the lap down.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you can see, you can see how much time, how much track does the spring go to, like maybe a higher shot, and we can see how much space there is between him. You don't even see third spot. So he's on his own at this point. So you can see what happens when you stay out there. He's losing about 0.8 of a second a lap. So right now the strategy you want to take is the strategy that Yazik and Hassard are doing is pitting in. They have a cliff with those tires, and they're picking that up just right.
That's it. He may have been able to stay out longer, but his lap times were slower. You caught it. The question is he, as Brandt misses his pit stall, we're going to go to the lead. We're going to have a new leader here for a minute as Stouffer moves from third place, goes around Yazik, goes around Hassard, and Chris Stouffer back up in front. Oh, I apologize. You know what? I'm thinking ahead of myself. This is a race. This is a race for 5th. So Samuel Ryman, Sammy baby, you're our leader. I apologize, man. No. Here comes Sam. Pit stops are done now. I think that's everybody. Now, jeez, I was calling it was a battle for the lead. Effectively it was, but you see Stouffer on the outside. That's Yazik on the inside. They come across the line, almost dead even. Let's see what iRacing says. Oh, about 1/thousand of a second to Stouffer. Now also in that mix, Yazik. The only 3 drivers who are still active in the Lionheart IndyCar Series that have won here at Michigan are up there racing 1, 2, 3 right now. Karem has got some work to do, about 2 seconds behind Hassard.
Yeah, he definitely lost a lot of time. So saving the fuel, like I said, you can save the fuel, but you don't want to stay out there longer. I mean, I guess the yellow comes out, you're looking good, but he should have come in when those guys came in. He would have had to take less fuel, and he would have jumped them in the pits. But we still have a long ways to go. We're only working lap 95 of 250. But you can see how the strategy has already thinned the pack out up front and kind of working for those 2 guys.
Coming up to the halfway point, 5 laps away. Stouffer, Yazik, Hassard. You can see him on the tower. You look at the gap as Karem's all by himself. Let's look at this second battle now. Here's a driver. I hate it when the drivers are under the radar. Damon Martinez having a great run. Up nine spots. And another driver racing well, George Anzaldo. Qualified 6th, racing up 1 spot from that. Good to see
Yeah,
the
George.
veteran up front.
Yeah, he started up front, then kind of fell back into that second group, or the back of the first group, and now he's back up to 6th spot, having a good battle here with Damon Martinez. Right behind them, Mark Cohn, who almost crashed in the pit lane. Bring along Michael Goodman. So we got a good little 4-car pack here. And then for Michael Goodman, there's another big separation back to Kinsella and Rowan, Shawan, and Ryman.
Of course, this race sponsored by the Butt Kicker. They had an onboard camera car. That was Jason Galvin. Unfortunately, the Bakersfield kid had some early trouble. Butt Kicker, a fine product. So Butt Kicker, let me talk a little bit about the Butt Kicker. They add instant immersion to any game, unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy and force. Butt Kicker products move actual mass, producing haptic immersion. It's powerful and accurate. Feel the low end without making the room loud. Turn down or turn off your subwoofer and still feel the bass you want. Experience powerful bass even while using headphones or gaming headsets. For sim racers, Butt Kicker products add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your sessions. For more information, visit thebuttkicker.com, and don't forget to use promo code LION2020 for 20% off your order.
And as we are doing that ad there for Butt Kicker, Sage Karam has raced his way up to 2nd spot. He has gone by both Hasser and Yasik, so we kind of prematurely ended his hopes there for the lead pack. He busted his butt to get back up. He's going to go back to the lead here.
Busted his butt, see, on the heels of a Butt Kicker commercial. That is some professional commentating there. Sage Karam, the new leader.
Yeah, new leader. And last time he sat behind these guys and tried to wait it out. And he might have learned a little lesson there. He's just going to go back to the front and do what these guys do. Just pit when they pit.
So that's the stepping stone taken away from George Anzaldo now, who is 6 seconds in 5th position. 6 seconds behind the lead pack.
And we got Chris Lanini coming into the pit lane. Oh, he's going to lose it in the pit lane. He was about 4 laps down, I believe, but he lost control going in.
Doesn't hit anything, and he'll just do a little wide turn and get back out there. Now, as you look at the leaders there, don't be confused. There is a 4th car involved. That white car in the back, that's the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow. He is, I don't know, Dustin, I'll tell you, how many laps down are you? 2 laps down. In fact, he's the leader of all the cars that are not on the lead lap.
Yeah, and that's not a bad position for him to be in because, if obviously a yellow flag comes out, these guys will pit and he'll stay in front and he'll be able to get waved around. He'll at least be able to gain at least 1 lap back.
There's the Sim Experience onboard camera for the Candyman. If we have another yellow flag, I'll talk a little bit about Dolores Candy if we have the opportunity. Makes for a happy marriage, let me tell you, when you get your package in the mail. I want to go back to look at car number 00 again. This is Mike Rigney. These guys continue to race back in the last cars on the lead lap. The one driver I want to talk about, Rigney, Limkeman, and Workman. We've seen them race together. Let's go back one more spot, though. If you go back to car number 93, something is fishy in Denmark as we look at Joshua Chin. Richie, last car on the lead lap.
I don't know.
The car's damaged or he's not feeling well, but he's going the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, he was up there in the top 3 or 4 right before those first round of pit stops, and here he is, last car that's not a lap down, running 28th position. So interesting. I don't know if something, like you say, something's wrong. I think someone's wrong with the car, but
Yeah.
I don't see any damage on the car, so we'll see.
If we go just behind Joshua Chin, we get to our leaders. Sage Karam going underneath Christopher. Now we're getting to the point where with only 45 laps to go, we're getting to the point where we can start to figure out what's the move you want to make.
145 laps left. We got 145
It's 140.
laps.
Well, then what I was saying, it's not even close to the point of thinking about how this thing is going to end. We're on lap 106. It's 250. I can do the math. Forgot to carry the 1. Thanks, Richie.
Yeah. The pace is pretty quick, so we're running 32.9s. Going around. No yellow flags, so they're just ticking the laps off. Got some good battles out there. Definitely pit strategy is going to be important. As we can see, if you pit early or pit late, makes a difference on where you come out.
Well, those 4 guys up front, I'm confident they're not going to crash. So we're going to let them swap positions, and I hate to be cavalier about what's going on, but let's assume they just continue to dance. Let's look at 5th. This one is a little more exciting. This is Tony Schowen now out in front. This is Kinsella. This is Goodman. These guys have not figured out who's going to be up front. For a while, it was George Enzalda, but now he's back in 8th. The Watchman looking to go underneath him. It also includes Damon Martinez, Larkamp in this mix. Samuel Ryman hanging in there, having a good run.
Yeah, it's basically positions 5th through 13th in the second group. They're about 7 seconds behind Joe Hassert. But they are racing hard, so they aren't messing around. Kinsella, Schoen, and Goodman kind of swapping positions. George Enzaldo in there. Mark Cohn, Martinez, Larkamp, Ryman doing a good job hanging in that front area of the race.
Sometimes I'd like to think that the mid-pack racing is more exciting because these guys don't quite have it figured out like the guys up front do. Stouffer, Yazik, and Hassert, Karam, man, they know what's going on right now. They are really comfortable. Watching these guys who are struggling just a little bit makes the racing, I think, a little more exciting. It's kind of like watching a game of tic-tac-toe. You watch adults play it, it's pretty boring. You let 3-year-olds play tic-tac-toe, and you got something that's fun to watch because, oh no, go to the center square, So that's why I kind of think mid-pack racing sometimes a little more exciting. Great racing going on right now. That car on the low side, that's the familiar color. That's Mark Cohn, was taking a peek at Damon Martinez.
And we got Josh Chin coming in for a pit stop. Apparently he has some damage on the side of his car.
That makes sense.
So that's why he came, he was falling back. He might have come in and decided he was losing too much time and just hopefully get some repairs done. And he's going to lose a lap, but he's going to be on a different strategy. Yeah, so he had a long stop, so get those repairs done. He's got a long ways to go, so get some yellow flags. He'll be back up there.
I got 2 pieces of good news for him. First of all, there's drop races, so he can wash this one away. And his biggest competition in the rookie standings, Juna Yesikan Kapati, is not here today. So I think the rookie championship not going to make that much of a change. Good opportunity for some of these other guys to climb up a little bit in those. As I scroll down looking for our top rookie, I got to go a ways down. It's car number 17, Adam Frazier, in 18th position. Look at them in a nice string, nice line there. There's Frazier. He's got Jay Brand in front of him. Scotty Johnson behind him, racing in 18th. Good, though, for Adam Frazier. He qualified in 34th, so up a lot of spots without the soup doing the math. That last car in line, that's Joe Branch. I checked to make sure it was okay to mention that he's in the Coca-Cola car. He has permission to race that sponsor. I've been calling it the carbonated beverage machine all season long to make sure I didn't get in trouble. Don't have to worry about it. And there goes Branch ducking underneath the 28, getting underneath Scotty Johnson. And Adam Frazier. Joe Branch making his 100th start today. That's a platinum anniversary, baby. Let's ride on board with the Indiana driver. Looking ahead at Jay Brandt, Ron Hacker, and you can see that familiar blue shaded car of Adam Blocker. I'm beginning to think, Richie, that Blocker just isn't feeling it today. He's working around James Krahula. Now Krahula swaps. So what pit window are we looking at here? We're about 27 laps in. I'd say we go another 12. Good racing going on. Very clean racing. Don't want to jinx it. Check back up front and look at Chris Stouffer. Is he beginning to open it up some? Nah. As Stouffer comes across, working lap number 117 with the pit window a little bit away. This is a good opportunity for us to step away, and we can run a few of those great testosterone heightening commercials. Don't go far. We'll be back in a few. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. We're all gamers, and HyperX is always ready to game. This is the iRacing Esports Network and GSE's coverage of the Lionheart US 500 presented by Butt Kicker. Coming your way from Michigan International Speedway. Just about 2 or 3 laps away from the halfway mark. Chris Stouffer is our leader. Sage Karen, Brian Yozik, and Joe Hassard. It depends when you check in on them, what order they race in.
Yeah, and right behind this lead pack, we got Dustin Wardlow, who's 2 laps down, and also Josh Shin, he's 3 laps down. He had some damage needed to be repaired, so even though they're with the lead guys, they're not running for the lead. And we're getting close to pit stops here as Brian Yazik and Joe Hasser are working laps 38, 39 since the last stop. They're going to stay out, but I'm going to assume they're going to start coming in pretty quickly.
The guy that I think would probably have made his stop, I'll have to see if Tyler Groff has made his stop yet. Roll down a bit, Tyler, where are you here? And no, I think he's still staying out there. He should be due any second. No, he's made a stop. He came in about 8 laps ago.
Yeah, it looks like here comes Yasuk and Hasser. Once again, they're the first of the front runners to make their stop. They're coming into pit lane. Get slowed down, doing a good job. Christopher and Sage Karam stay out as they have. They're about 3 laps longer they can go.
Yeah, this is interesting, though, because this is where Stouffer and Karam, they may not be running as fast as when Yazik and Hazard get out there on fresh rubber. They got to be careful. I was worried that they were going to lose Stouffer and Karam last time, but they managed to get back up there.
And they come out, drag racing out of the pit lane, side by side. And it looks like Hazard's going to get in front of Yasik as they single file to that warm-up lane. There goes the leaders. They just went by, so you lose just a little bit more than a lap. Be interesting to see when these guys come in because they're going to get up to speed and start putting in some fast laps here in a second.
Michael Goodman pits from 10th. James Gruhula pits from farther back.
Stouffer's in. Sage stays out once again. So Stouffer pits on his own.
The leaders go by right now. So not the leaders. Let's go ahead and pick up Brian Yazik is in 18th position and Joe Hazard in 19th. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for calling them the leaders. I forget that they're down a lap, but this will be interesting. We'll see how this plays out compared to Karam and Stouffer.
And Karam's in. And there's our quasi-leaders right there. If everything goes to no yellow flags, they're the first of the leaders to pit.
Stouffer just gets the car up on the track now. He won't get it wound up, but I think he's actually going to get out in front of him. The car in the mix, that's Chin as he gets out of the way. Now let's go ahead and see how this plays out with Karam, if he can get out in front of these guys.
He's going to come out right with them, basically.
Yep.
As they're going by. You're going to see them in the shot right there. There they are. They're going to get by Sage, but he's going to be up to speed, so he's going to be able to stick back with this pack. They got Josh Chin hanging in the back, but he's got a long ways to go before he has to pit next. He's 2 laps down. He's only 1 lap down now.
This is the part of the race that I always miss on TV, is they never cover how the pit stops play out. So our leader now is Tony Schowen. He needs to stop.
Yeah, these were the guys, Schowen, Martinez, Ryman, Kinsella, Larkamp. These were the guys that are in that second group there, about 7 seconds back, but they're staying out, so they're hoping for a yellow. And Zaldo was in that group, but he pitted, so he's first car lap down at the moment. And it looks like Schowen and Martinez are slowing down to make that stop. Ryman stays out. Carey is now coming in. He was in that 3rd pack.
I think George Anzaldo is leading. Has Anzaldo made his stop yet? Let me see. I think he's the leader of all the cars other than the front 4 that have been, yeah. You got your front 4 have stopped. So then Anzaldo racing in 13th position is having a great run.
Yeah, he had a good pit stop, so he is the leader of whoever was in that second pack. Right. He's leading them because he pitted a little earlier.
Let's look at car number 3. This is Damon Martinez. He's just coming out on track right now, but Anzaldo blows by him. As does Goodman and And now our leader, once again, Samuel Ryman. Boy, if the numbers play out right for Sammy, I haven't done that. There's no way I can do the math this far away, but wouldn't it be interesting if it just rolled out that Sam Ryman could go the distance and he steals a win on fuel?
Well, we're kind of getting to the point. I mean, we're past halfway, and the way this race has been shaping out, everybody's running pretty clean. You got to start counting backwards a little bit and see where you play out as far as your fuel numbers go.
This is Ryman's 39th lap. This will be, if he comes in this time, looks like he can go 40s. He's going to go around again. All right, I'm going to try math. You subtract 40 from 250, that gets you to 210. That gets you to 170. That gets you to 130. He can go with 2 more stops. I don't know about the rest of the guys. Probably everyone is 2 stops away.
Yeah, I think everybody's on the same boat, but you might have to take less fuel on that last stop and pass guys in the pit lane.
All right, so Cinderella has a curfew as Samuel Ryman comes into pit lane.
Right now we got Johnson. He has not. Oh, Johnson crashed in the pit lane.
He did. I heard him. I heard him.
He backed it into the wall, and he is out of the car. He's out of the car. He backed it straight in when he tried to slow down.
He was all the way up to second, right behind Ryman, so does not bring out a yellow. So I believe the window has closed, and that puts Christopher in the lead for now. Sage Karam right behind him. Hassard and Yazik. The fourth car up top, that's Bart Workman. Bart, they finally got to you, huh? You were racing with Rigney and Linkeman. You guys have all finally fell a lap down.
Yeah, we're back to our original players in the group of 4, Stouffer, Karam, Hassert, and Yasik. I would like to point out that Martinez is leading the second group at the moment, it looks like, and he's almost 9 seconds back. So they were only 7 seconds back earlier, so they lost a little bit of time on those pit stop exchanges. So we definitely have distinctive groups here, group of 4, and then it looks like a group of 5. And then Andrew Cassell is leading that third group, 11 seconds back from the leader.
We played the Sesame Street game a little bit earlier. Let's stay with that theme. Can we look at car number 38, Director Racing in 22nd position? Haven't talked much about Brian. It's not easy being Greenlee. He is the last car on the lead lap, 24 seconds behind the leaders. Are they anywhere close? They're about a half a lap behind. So, Brian, you're doing all right. Car right in front of him, that is Brian Beard. He is a lap down. That's not for position. Next car up for Greenlee would be Justin Weaver, about 3.5 seconds up. Let's go ahead and look at that pack, Director. Car number 79, read by Brian Carey. This is for 18th. Brian Carey in here with Joe Branch, Jay Brandt, and the Moby Dickey's machine of Justin Weaver.
Let's make group of 4. And then they got Tyler Graff right up in front of them, not too far away, so they should be able to work up, maybe catch up to him.
We got to get the series organizers to get in touch with Moby Dickey's. I would sure love them to be an official sponsor of one of these races so we can talk about it. Oh. Hello to everybody at Moby Dickey's. Justin Weaver in 21st position right now. All right. Our contract makes us put the camera on the leaders every so often. Who's out there now?
Christopher's up front, but they've been going back and forth. Yazik in second. Sage Karam trying to look around the outside out of 2 down the backstretch, trying to take that second spot, which he does. Joe Hassert hanging right in the back of them. They got a couple of hanger-oners behind them. Bart Workman, who's a first car lap down, Mike Rigney lap down, and Brandon Linkerman is a lap down. So they're hanging with those lead group.
Those three guys, Workman, well, certainly Workman and Rigney, and then they picked up another playmate with Linkerman. They've been together for the whole race. And actually, they're in pretty good shape now as Workman can hang onto the back of that lead pack, put in some good lap times. Again, we talked about it. It's Brian Greenlee, the next car those guys would like to get to. Greenlee going into corner number 1 right now, and the leader's just crossing the finish line.
Brian Yazik going back around Sage Cam, take back that second spot. Chris Stover, he's got to be our lead lap leader. He's been up front, and anytime he gets past, he goes right back to the front. So he likes leading that group around. But here comes Brian Yazik. You can see right there, looking to the inside, he's going to take that short line around turn 3 and 4. Chris Stover's got the momentum, though, on the outside. He's going to be able to hang out and take that, not give that lead up.
And you can see on those Dougie Beard long angle shots that the next pack is nowhere to be found. They are 8.5 seconds back. You can see it on the tower, led by Tony Schowen. That is a fun pack to watch, though. The Schowen, Kinsella. Again, tic-tac-toes from toddlers back there as they are swapping positions. That's Kinsella. Up front, side by side. Stouffer up top. Yazik down below. They race side by side. There's no room for Sage Karam unless he wants to make it 3 wide. Rigney, Limpkeman. Actually, Workman, Rigney, and Limpkeman in tow. 1 lap down. Those 3 continue to gain on their next victim, Brian Greenlee. Oh, Brian, they are coming as you race in 22nd position all by yourself. As you look on screen, you may wonder what those next 2 cars are. Those are Dustin Wardlow and Chris Lanini. You'll see them behind the leaders there several laps down as well. Let's drop back and look at 5th position. Right now it's Tony Schowen and Kinsella. Goodman, I go through the field. The driver who's missing, conspicuous by his absence, is Adam Blocker. Just nowhere to be seen. Oh, look at this run. There goes Have a Catch underneath Schowen.
Yeah, Adam Blocker's in that 3rd group there. He started 29th, made his way up to 14th, but he's kind of stuck, and he can't bridge that gap. He needs the yellow flag to be able to get up there. So far, the strategy is not really working out for him, but we still have a long ways to go.
The guy, this in comparison, Samuel Ryman is working his 12th lap on this stint. That's 8 laps better than what Stouffer and the guys up front have done. I mean, well, Stouffer actually, Yazik is on lap 20, is on his 23rd lap. So I don't know if the math is going to play out for Ryman, but it is interesting. You don't want to forget about him back there. He's a pretty smart cookie. Working lap number, what are we working here? 148. Now, when I watch at home, I put it on my big screen because I have that technology, because I'm that type of guy. Put it up on the big 65-incher. Let the surround sound take effect. If you're able to do that, Let's go ahead and, as the leaders come across the start-finish line, crank it up. Stop missing the production meeting. Where the heck did that cool graphic come from as we cranked it up? Soup approves. Christopher out in front. Brian Yazik, Sage Karam. They are the cream of the crop, and that cream includes Joe Hassard.
Yeah, these four have been together basically the whole race, except for the first probably 10 laps. So they've got quite a gap. They got about 6-second gap to the second group, which starts with Tony Shallon and Andrew Kinsella. Now they have closed some of that gap up. It was at 8 seconds at some point. So they've closed up a little bit of time, but they still have a little bit of space to go before they can run with these guys.
Yeah, let's go and look at car number 31, Tony Shallon, right now, because this is interesting. He has what I like to call stepping stones here. He's got Chris Lanini that he can draft on and Dustin Wardlow. I think when I noticed it, if I can check my clipboard here and read my chicken scratches, I think I had marked that down as like 8 seconds at one time. So I think Shallon, they're beginning to close on those guys. These are fixed setups, so I mean, it's not like they can do a heck of a lot to. They can't take any downforce out of the car. We talked about Shallon and Kinsella. Just behind them is this quiet run from Martinez, now under attack from Michael Goodman. These guys race for 7th.
Damon Martinez started 16th up to 7th. Michael Goodman's been quietly hanging into that second group. And, right behind them, Mark Cohn. A little scary moment coming to the pit lane earlier, but he's hanging into that group as well. He's the last car of that second group. And then from then, huge gap to the next group. It starts with Samuel Ryman. But yeah, Damon Martinez, Michael Goodman having a good little scrap there for 7th.
Mark Cohn, known as the Watchman, he purchases nice watches that are kind of in not good condition, and he gets them fixed up, and he's got quite a watch collection.
And then you were talking about Tony Shallon with his stepping stones. He has stepped over Chris Lanini. And next car in front of him, I think, is Dustin Wardlow. So we'll see if he can use these to kind of bring him up to the pack. There's 6.5 seconds back from Joe Hassard. But there's other cars in front as well.
Well, actually, now I'm looking at the gap. Shallon is down to 5.5 seconds to Hassard. So Tony Shallon is coming.
And our one lone guy on his own strategy, Tyler Groff, is back in the pit lane.
He's kind of like the alarm. When he comes in, that means that everyone else will be coming in about the next 7 or 8 laps.
Yeah, up front we got basically Yazik and Hassard. Yazik working 34 laps, so I'm going to say about 6 more laps, and we'll see these guys pit for the 5th time.
Let's look at car number 38. It finally happened. That is Brian Greenlee. They got to you. Stouffer goes by. And so that's really would be no big nothing wrong with that for Greenlee, except that it brought along Bart Workman and Mike Rigney and Brandon Lipkeman. So all of a sudden, those three guys that are a lap down that have been racing together, well, they got a fourth playmate now.
And if we kind of go back to Tony Schoen, another stepping stone is being stepped on as he goes around Dustin Wardlow. So he's making his way up there. He's still 6.5 seconds back, but he does have some people to help drag him along. He's got Andrew Kinsella in tow with him, and there you go. There's that pack right there as they go around Dustin Wardlow. About 6 cars in that pack.
Yeah, what's interesting is the gap. The gap to the leader stays about the same. The gap to Hassard in fourth stretches and shrinks depending on whether Joe Hassard, how racy he feels. Working lap number 160.
I was going to say, you watch that pack right there. Those guys aren't racing as hard as they were earlier. I think they're seeing maybe a little desperation, realizing yellows aren't happening, and so we got to just line up. And if we don't, we're gonna be battling for 5th the rest of the race.
Talk desperation. Let's go to 11th. Car number 4. This is Krahula. This is Ron Hacker. About a second ago, these guys were 3 wide as they continue to race back here. Again, a little more frantically than what's going up front. Blocker, little by little. He started at 29th. Now he's racing in 13th. Gaining positions, but really not getting any closer to the leaders. Weaver, Larkman in this mix as well. There's some weaving back and forth back there.
Yeah, and Samuel Ryman's the one guy that is a lot different on the pit strategy. I mean, I guess Tyler Groff is even more. But as far as the main groups, he's 10 laps less than, say, James Krahula right in front of him. So he'd be better off just saving as much fuel as he can. He can't catch that main group no matter what he does. So he might as well try to beat him on fuel strategy. Now, we can go back to Tyler Groff. And, we kind of poked fun at him being the only guy out there. But, he just pitted. And I don't know where that puts him on his pit strategy.
Yeah, the difference between Groff and Ryman is Tyler is first to come in. He's never in the lead. Ryman is on the strategy in the other direction, where at least he has a handful of laps where he's out in front. And if the checkered flag would happen to fall in those magic laps that Ryman's out there, I don't think they will. I've kind of gone through the map. All right, leaders are coming in. Hassard is in. And I would imagine Yazik also came in with him.
Yeah, Yazik already came in, so he's coming back around. Stouffer's coming in the next lap. There goes Yazik around Hassard.
Hassard cycles out in 18th position. He's got about a second on Yazik. Yazik should be able to catch him.
Yeah, Yazik's up to speed, so he should be able to catch him.
So Karam has stayed out. Am I right on this? And Schoen is still out as well. Am I correct on the yes? They've yet to make their stops, right?
Yeah, Sage and Schoen. Sage is still out there. Looks Stouffer's come in. But Sage is the leader at the moment. He's going to stay out. He's going to go around again.
Stouffer in 14th position is the car that's leading all the cars who've made this round of pit stops. And he made it on lap 163.
And here comes Sage. He's going to come into the pit lane this lap. And here he comes. Get it slowed down. these guys are working their 5th round of pit stops. Laps are going by quick. Lap 167 out of 250.
That turns the lead over to Schowen and Casella as they race second, third with Martinez and first and second with Martinez in third.
Yeah, and just Schowen was the leader of that second group. They were 6.5 seconds back before this round of pit stops. So we'll see how that shakes out once they come in and take their stops. Looks like they're slowing down. Yep, here they come. Schowen and Kinsella coming in together.
Stouffer goes across into corner number 1 right now. And they're going to blow by Karam. Can we get on Karam real quick? Karam's got some work to do. Car number 2. Coming out of pit lane, he's got about 0.7 of a second behind Stouffer now. I think he's going to be okay. As they come across the line. Boom, 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 boom. There's your front 4. Well, actually, they're not really your front 4, but they will be.
Yeah, Brian Yazik's going to go around Joe Hazard. But yeah, those guys back up front. Once we get cycled through everybody, Yazik, Stouffer, and Karam are group of 4. Schowen and Kinsella coming out of the pit lane. They're getting swallowed up by Michael Goodman.
The question is, can these guys go with one more stop when they came in? We'll do the math in a minute. Martinez is coming in now from the lead. The one driver I feel comfortable that can do it on one stop will be Samuel Ryman. Justin Weaver in front of Ryman. You may think this is not important, and it may turn out to be not important, but right now, these guys, if they can do it on one more stop and nobody else can, this could be the race for the lead, for the win.
Yeah, so we got, 80 laps left?
Right.
79 laps left. Looks like we can do 40 laps on a set of, on fuel. So, yeah, it'll be close.
They get there.
It'll at least be a short second stop.
Right. Yeah, I'm comfortable that Ryman can get there. The other guys who came in early, Yazik and Hazard, we'll see. Yazik's been out there for 9 laps right now. As Sam comes in.
Sam's pitting earlier than he normally would pit, because that would leave Justin Weaver out there on his own. So he's going to hang out another lap as Adam Blocker goes around him. So Justin Weaver, Jay Brandt is working lap 40. He has not pitted yet. So first right now is Justin Weaver, who's coming in. He's bringing Jay with him. So they are now the 2 guys that have gone the longest on this last round.
My calculations is Hazard's going to have to go 83 laps on basically 2 stints. So I think that's probably okay.
Yeah.
41 and 42.
Happen.
Yeah. There's our HyperX onboard camera from Joe Hazard. While we look at this, Weaver cycles out in 15th position.
So once again, that group of 4 is Yazik, Hassert, Stouffer, Karam. And they got one guy tagging along. Brian Carey is the first car lead a lap down.
Little by little, the cars on the lead lap, the numbers dwindle a bit. Let's go ahead and look at the car in 20th position, car number 79. He's 5th in line there that you see, right behind Sage Karam right now. And that is Brian Carey. Racing at 20th, he's the last car, or the first car 1 lap down. He's got about 3 seconds on Brian Greenland. The good news for Kerry is he's on the back of this lead train, and he should be able to pull away from Greenland.
So once again, that gap to the second group led by Tony Schowen is 8.2 seconds.
Yep.
Well, I guess Goodman's leading that pack now, but there's a group of 5 there. They were up to 6.5 seconds, but they lost some time on that pit stop exchange.
So if we look at that second group that starts with Michael Goodman, Tony Schowen is there, Andrew Kinsella, who was racing up front for a while.
Cone and Anzaldo hanging in there for a good top 10 finish here.
This has been interesting, and then you expect Blocker to make his way through, but he really hasn't been able to do it.
Well, he's gotten about as high up as he can get. I mean, he's in that next group, but they're 12 seconds back from the leader and 3 seconds back from the second group. So, unfortunately, that's just the position that he's stuck in right now. I mean, he could be the leader of this group, but that's only going to be as good as 10th place.
Let's go ahead and look at that group. Starts with car number 4. Well, it was car number 4 of James Krahula. It's now Damon Martinez gets around him. You see Krahula in the fluorescent yellow machine. Ron Hacker right behind them. Then you got a lap car of Tyler Groff. And then the blue machine of Blocker. You said it. Richie is making his way up. We're talking about 2-time champion and defending champion Adam Blocker. But right now, the best he can get is 10th.
And as far as rookie of the year standings go, I think Adam Frazier's our highest rookie runner. He's in that group we just talked about, right behind Adam Blocker, Adam Frazier. And they got Stefan Larkamp in that group as well. Oh no, he's 4 seconds back leading another group.
That's great. Adam Frazier sitting 5th in the rookie standings. A lot of rookies are not here today. I don't think is Richard Holiday not here? I don't think I've seen him in the grid.
Holiday, Concapati, Chin's having his problems. Is Lewis here?
Nathan Lewis, he got caught out in that early incident, I believe. Yeah.
Got it.
So he's had a rough day.
Sandman's not here. Ganji got caught up in that big wreck. So, yeah, Frazier looking to make a jump in the standings here if he stays where he's at.
Let's check back in on the lead, see what's going on up there. Well, who's getting permission to lead? Brian Yazik, Hassert, Stouffer. Richie, if I had to pick one, I couldn't. I have no idea which one of those 4 is stronger.
Well, they're all strong, and I would say Karam and Yazik are probably the more aggressive ones. But, you know, if I had to pick one of these 4, the way the race is going, I'd probably put it on Stouffer. He's been more up front, I think, than the rest of them, but that doesn't mean much.
Got to be refreshing for Sage Karam to come here and race with some guys that he feels comfortable around, at least sim racing. Out there racing in car number 2. You know, there are 3 retired car numbers here in the, well, not really 3, there are 2. You may not race the 77. They reserved that for the memory of Dan Weldon. And car number 81 is reserved for Patrick Taylor, who sadly passed away. He was a Lionheart regular, had a lot to do with the league. And car number 1 is reserved for the champion. That's Adam Blocker right now. That's that one. Richie, a little trivia for you. In all of your Lionheart IndyCar career, which entails kart and the IRL, do you know the number that you race the most often?
10.
Ding, ding, ding. Nice job, Richie Hearn. I wasn't sure you were going to get that.
I happened to look up onto my wall and have a picture of that car.
What's your favorite beer?
It's got to be the Budweiser.
There you go.
Yeah.
Based on that.
Yeah. So, I raced number 21. I raced number 10. I obviously raced number 4 for Food for Less. And I raced 99. I raced 77. I raced
Do you have a number that's what?
70 is my number.
70 is your number? Okay.
When I raced go-karts, that was the number I always raced. But when I was in IndyCar, I didn't really care, honestly. I wanted the lowest number because that way when you look at the program, your name's right at the top.
That's good.
I like the way the number 10 looked on that car, so that came out good.
Yeah, Budweiser car was pretty. Working lap number 187 here as things begin to settle down. We're waiting for that final round of pit stops. Folks, I wasn't sure as we ride on board with Joe Hazard. I wasn't sure Richie was going to get that one. If you know Richie Hearn, he's one of the most humble drivers. He's shucks type guy. And honestly, can't remember what we had for lunch yesterday as far as the director and I like to talk to Richie about old stuff. I don't know what happened.
Too many concussions.
Yeah. I think Richie is proudest of at one time owning the highest G-force collision of all time. Wasn't that right, Richie? Something like that?
Yeah, it was a good one. I mean, you survive it. You gotta be proud of it. All right, lap 188 at 250. We're kind of getting down to that point where we can start working those numbers backwards. We worked out a little bit, but Yazik, Hassert, Stover, and Karam all working lap. Yazik and Hassert 26 and 25 since their last stop. Karam stayed out a little longer, so he's only done 21 laps.
Soup thinks everyone can do it on one more stop. We are a little iffy with Yazik and Hazard. Let's drop back to this one. This battle's a little more exciting. We go back to this next group. You can see that Krahula's pulled away a little bit. There's Hacker. Blocker now up to 12th. That might be the highest I've seen him so far.
Yeah, started 26, running 10th right now. And just right in front of him, James Krahula started 30th and running 9th. So these guys are doing a good job. They are in that second group, or they're in the leader of the third group. They're only about 2 seconds away from that second group, and that would be Mark Cohn. Is that Tyler Groff coming into the pits?
Yeah, it's time for him to make that stop. Not quite sure what's going on there. That means that the rest of the guys will be coming in about 10.
No, that's Brian Greenlee who came in. Sorry. Greenlee's coming in, so Tyler Groff is still out there. I just saw the car flash by in the pit lane right there, so I know it's getting close to that point for Tyler.
You go up front now, they've picked up another coat-tailer there. That's Brian Carey, the sixth car in line. He's in 19th position, the first car 1 lap down. As these front four, they're just kind of lapping cars the way that you're supposed to. They're just going around and lapping them. 18 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, Brian Carey's first car lapped down 19. He just pitted though, but he's right on the back of these guys, so he will cycle around back to being on the lead lap once everybody else pits. But he's in a good spot there, so hanging on with that lead group.
If you are short of entertainment this weekend, GSRC bringing you 17 hours of sim racing over Saturday and Sunday. That's a lot of hours. Our director had a national TV broadcast this morning, snuck in to do this one. And when he's done with these 500 miles, don't worry, he's got only another 600 to do as we bring you the majors. 600 miles from Charlotte. Our director's going to be kind of cranky around the end of that race. I kind of feel sorry for Joe Peak and the commentators. They're going to feel like Rihanna, and our director's going to be Chris Brown. They're just going to try not to upset the director. Working lap number 195. All right, let's get to the magic number here. You got to go 250 laps. Let's say you can go 42.
So
that means you got to get to lap 208.
Yeah, 208.
That's 12 laps from now.
I see if you can make it to up to 208, you'd be good to go. I don't know who can do that. It's 10 laps from
I don't
now.
know. That's
Well, Adam Blocker, Adam Frazier. It's going to be close for some of these guys. There's going to be some that can and some that can't.
Here's Brian Lipkeman racing in 19th position. Brandon Lipkeman. He's got these other guys that are coming to lap him down. You got Martinez and Blocker coming.
I'll tell you what.
Car now. Look, Blocker up to 10th.
I was going to say, just looking at the numbers, Adam Blocker might be able to do it. He might be able, him and Frazier might be able to make it to lap 208 if they save enough fuel and do it on one stop. And if we go green the whole way, who knows what could happen.
Yeah. The yellow car of Krujula goes around Blocker, but that's not the position.
Yazik's coming in. Hazard's staying out, but Yazik's coming in on his own.
Okay,
The
this is
leaders
not.
are starting to pit.
They're not going to get there.
They are not going to get there, no. But I'm looking at pit stop window numbers from the last stop, and I don't know. We'll see where Adam Blocker comes in. That might be his only chance, is to just stretch it out.
It gets down to Sammy Ryman, but the problem with Ryman is racing in 14th. He's got to be careful that his pace doesn't get him. He has to make sure he stays on the lead lap. Of all the drivers, Samuel Ryman is in the best fuel position. And he actually came in a little bit earlier than I thought he would his last stop, which led me to believe he had the numbers figured that he was good to go on one more stop. Hassard has done the math. He's going to stay out.
Yeah, David Martinez is pretty close. He's only a couple laps away from what Samuel Ryman has been doing. So keep an eye on him.
Right.
Like I say, magic number right around 208, we believe. We're working lap 201.
So Yazik comes in early. Hassard stays out. Hassard's going to come in this time as he starts to slow down. That's going to be good news for Yazik. He should be faster. I don't know if 2 laps is going to be enough for Hassard to worry about losing touch. Stouffer and Karam now staying out. Boy, can we look at Stouffer and Karam?
Yeah, Karam was like bump trap.
On him tighter than a.
And here comes Yazik.
Than a Mardi Gras wino. There goes Yazik on those new tires.
He's going to unlap himself. So when these guys come out, he's going to have some space. So these guys are going around at lap 33.2 seconds. Yazik's going to be about 6 to 7 tenths of a second faster. These guys need to pit soon.
Yeah, they're trying to stretch it.
Well, I mean, if you can't make it, you can't make it. So just don't lose track position.
That's why Yaza can race with reckless abandon. He knows he can't get there. I'm not sure Stouffer and Karam have surrendered the Casper.
And if you want to look at the distance that Hassert just came out of the pits, and the distance that Yazik has put on him is almost the whole front straightaway. About half the straightaway at least.
Yeah.
And Brian's just exiting turn 2, and now Joe Hassert's just, so you can see the distance there from the front car to the last car.
Yeah.
That's the distance that Joe lost on that last exchange. We'll see what happens when Sage and Chris Stouffer come in. They're still staying out.
Stouffer now happy to sit behind Yazik. Save a little petrol. 46 to go. Fixed setups. There's no knobs to dial. There's no boost to lower. All your fuel saving is done either with your right foot or putting yourself behind another car and being in the draft. Joe Hassert, you see him way back there just going around the car of Brian Carey. He's in the unenviable position of needing to race fast and save fuel. And he's there. He's got to carry him.
He's got to carry him, and so he's there with Yazik. So he's able to close that gap up with the help of those cars to draft with, and he's going to go by Sage Karam here. Looks like Chris Stouffer's slowing down to come into the pit lane. Sage is going to stay out. Stouffer's in. Looks like Sage is going to try to make it to that lap 208. I got
Stouffer pits with 44 to go. There goes Hassert around Yazik. That's for 12th position. What we think will be the lead in a minute. Karam is your leader. He's staying out again.
Yeah, Karam's staying out. He's working lap 40. So like we said, we think he can go 42. So that's going to give him 2 more laps. So he's going to be in that window. Adam Blocker's up to 4th now. He's staying out too. So he's going to be close to making it on 1 lap or 1 stop.
If Karam pits this time, means he went 41. And he'll have 42 to go on his next stint. If he stays out, I think it's comfortable. It looks like he is.
Yeah, well, Adam Blocker's already done 42 laps, so we know it can be done. And he's coming in this lap. Karam's staying out, so Adam's coming in, so you know you can do 42 at least.
But how fast can you do 42?
Well, I mean, it just depends on who you're running with, I guess. Like Karam's going to come in this lap as well. So we're in that window that at least him and Blocker can make it.
Yeah, Stouffer is way back. In fact, Stouffer just going across the start-finish line now. Stouffer's lost total touch with the front guys.
I want to mention we missed something with Damon Martinez. He is out of the car, missing the front wing. So something happened on track. I'm trying to find it.
We're hearing from our director. Maybe he got into it with George Anzaldo a bit. Karam out of pit lane now.
Yeah, it looks like George got into the back of Damon and kind of pitched him into the wall.
Okay, Karam comes out. The 2 leaders blow by him, but that's probably not a worry to Sage. The guy maybe he has to worry about would be Stouffer. And if I look for Stouffer, he's back in pit lane again. Something has happened to Stouffer. He's in again.
He might have gotten a speeding penalty because he's just sitting there.
On the way out, perhaps? Yeah, boy.
Yeah, look how long that stop is. So he's got a penalty, so that's going to ruin his chance. All that work done and ruined.
Well,
now
that puts Samuel Ryman back out there.
And this, what's going to be about this, though, is he's going to come in. He still has to stop, obviously, but he has to take less fuel. So it's going to be less time in the pit lane, and it's going to leapfrog him up. He's not going to go to the lead, but I think that'll move him up, at least as these groups go, maybe up to the next group. Here he comes. He's coming in. He's bringing in Justin Weaver.
All these guys, Weaver was racing in second, and Jay Brandt was third.
So we'll see where these guys come out because they're going to take less fuel. About 4 laps less.
And that puts the lead back in the hands of Brian Yozik and Joe Hassert.
And Karam. So it was a group of 4. Now it's a group of 3.
Although Karam's not with them. Because I don't think Sage knows he doesn't need to be with them because he thinks, and I tend to agree with him, that Yozik and Hassert are going to have to pit again.
Yeah, you're right. He is not with them. In that group is Brian Beard hanging on there. He's 3 laps down, but Sage Karam is about half a straightaway behind. And behind him, he's got James Krahula as well.
Things could not have worked out better for a man who needs to save fuel. Because the guy that maybe he had to race with Chris Stouffer, and Stouffer had that penalty, so he's out of the mix. So now it's all Sage Karam right now. All he needs to do, he's got the second lead on Krahula. But I guess, does he have a chance to go?
Yeah. No, he's working lap 20 of his pit stop, so he has to pit. The guy he has to worry about as far as pit stop strategy would be Kinsella, Schowen, and Blocker, and they're a little ways back there. They're about 3 seconds back.
We've been talking about Adam Blocker all race. This could play out where Blocker could actually end up with possibly a podium as he races. Karam looks to be in great position, and then you got this race with Kinsella and Schowen and Blocker. Let's look at the battle right now with Schowen and Blocker. This is for 9th position, which could be for 3rd when everything plays out.
Yeah, I mean, Sage is kind of letting people by. You can't go too far back because Kinsella's 2 cars behind him, and he's on the same pit strategy. I don't know if he knows that. That's the thing. He doesn't have the data.
Maybe Sage let him by because he doesn't want to do all the work aerodynamically. He might be happier following Hacker right now.
Yeah, true story. He can't do it on his own for sure. But doing that, he's brought in Kinsella into that mix.
Indeed.
And Adam Blocker is now in that group.
Kinsella just pulled over and let Chris Stouffer go by. Now, look at this. Here comes Stouffer. That speeding penalty, that's got to warm your gazpacho because he's just right now upset.
He's
got
upset.
A chance for the win.
But here comes Kinsella going to the inside of Sage Karam. He's going to tag on to the back. They're going to go 3 wide. Ooh! Sage Karam just cut off Andrew Kinsella to try to get behind Stouffer.
Look at this, though. That's the driver that has pace that Karam wanted to get behind. Now he's got a driver that he can tow behind, save fuel, and is also racing fast. Kinsella has got to be able to get behind those guys. He can't let Karam get away. There is Kinsella going underneath the car of Krahula. We don't think Krahula can get there. We think Kinsella can. So now the battle is between Karam racing in 3rd and Kinsella in 4th. Schowen and Blocker have a chance at it too. They've got to hustle their way through traffic right now. You can see them working in the back, right off the back of Karam. You can see them working to try to get up there. This assumes that we won't have a yellow flag between now and the end. 31 laps to go.
That is true. So 31 laps, that would put 41 for Karam, Kinsella, 42 for Schowen, 43 for Blocker.
Well, that's 43's that's stretching it.
Yeah,
We knew Krahula would have to pit. Yep.
Yeah, he didn't have to pit now, but he decided to do it now more than later. So he's going to take a short fuel fill and go back out.
The battle to watch right now is the battle for third. Sage Karam. He rides behind Chris Stouffer. Stouffer is 2 laps down but has pace. He got a penalty in pit lane. His chances of winning are out of it, but it's good news for Karam. You would think that we would want to care about what's going on up front with Jasek and Hassard, and Lord knows if we've calculated the fuel wrong, we'll be idiots, but we don't think Jasek and Hassard can get there. And watching them race is kind of academic.
Yeah, it's just 2 of them running up front. They got Brian Beard in tow, who's a couple laps down to them, but those 2 guys are not racing hard at the moment. They're just kind of staying in line. They cannot make it, so that would put them at like 50 laps.
I believe George Enzaldo. Nope. I heard a crash somewhere, but I don't know where it was. I thought it was Enzaldo. We're still green. Scared me. When I commentate, I turned the microphones up really high to see if I can listen to something, and my earphones said something was up. You know, the problem was why I got confused is I'm not using HyperX headphones. If I had HyperX headphones, I'd know right what was going on.
So here goes Michael Goodman to the inside of Karam and Kinsella. I don't think he can make it either. That would put him at 47 laps. I think the real battle is if we don't get a yellow.
Kinsella, they're going to make a 3 wide. Kinsella on the inside. Goodman, who we think has to pit, in the middle, and now Karam gets around. Kinsella up to third. He goes around the lap car of George Enzaldo. We believe this is the race for the win.
And you can see that James Krahula, after his pit stop, cycled right back to where he was. So we obviously know he's good to go. He has good tires, less fuel, and but he's lapped down to these guys.
One more time, we'll walk you through the drivers we think can get there. Kinsella, Karam, Schowen, Blocker. How about the rookie Adam Frazier? We think that he probably can get there.
Adam Frazier's right on the edge. I don't know if he can do it.
He's sitting behind Larkamp right now, just
pretty close.
Saving fuel, yeah. Something that we can watch when we get to the final lap. As the leaders come across, we'll jump back and see if Frazier can coast it around. Apologies to the friends and families and fan clubs of Brian Jasek and Joe Hassard, 2 former winners. They race 1-2 in dire need of a yellow flag. The question is, if a yellow comes out, do they then have enough to get there? Or do they still need to pit?
Yeah, I think if a yellow comes out, I think you'll see everybody pit and just take tires and sprint it out. That's what I'm going to think. But
good point.
I want to see it go green. I want to see if our GSRC math is finally correct for once. I've been wrong before.
I'll tell you right now, if Jasek and Hassard get to the end, they may have to send me back to commentating school because we would have blown it. But
if they get to the end, I'm never doing it again. I'm never talking about fuel again.
Let's go ahead and look at Kinsella and Sage. Now the 2 cars, they got Stouffer in there, and there's Krahula is out. Krahula's good to go. He's made his final stop. He races in 14th, first car 1 lap down.
Yeah, if Brian Jasek can make it, he'd have to go 51 laps.
Yeah, That's a bit. All right. That's Hacker going underneath now. Karam says, okay, there's cars to draft with. I can get underneath Kinsella. No reason to follow Kinsella if I got guys I can tow on. Sage in the Wix machine. Now Kinsella goes underneath. The white car, number 13, that is Stouffer. He is fast with 2 laps down. That is a battle for position ahead with Hacker going underneath the fluorescent yellow car of Krahula. Yazik is in.
Yeah, he's decided he's going to pit in lap 30 and at least give himself a chance to get back up to the front instead of waiting to the last minute. He realized he's not going to be able to make it. Joe Hastert's going to hang out. I think if I was Joe, I guess I would just run it till it's dry and maybe get a yellow. I don't think you can really fix it at this point because Yazik's going to come out. He's going to be a lap down no matter what.
We got to go back to Kinsella right now because I am worried. Oh, bouncing it off the wall and almost getting in Kinsella was the car on the top side. That was Chris Stouffer. They avoid disaster. Kinsella was sandwiched with Stouffer to the top and Tyler Graff to the bottom. He's stuck in the middle. Everything works out. Now a great run from Karen. This is a battle for what is going to be now second position as Yazik falls behind these guys. Only Joe Hassert sits between them and the lead. Hassert will have to pit. Stouffer keeps the car going. Hacker is in the mix up there with Krahula as well.
Andrew Casella squeezing up on the outside. You can tell these guys, I think, realize that this is the battle for the lead right here because they're not just cruising around. They're fighting for it tooth and nail. Right behind them, though, is not too far, is Tony Schowen, Adam Blocker.
They're coming.
They can make it.
They are coming. Schowen only 0.4 of a second back. Blocker right behind him. Blocker has been sleeping the whole race. Look at the run that car number 31, Schowen, is getting. He's coming. They don't quite have the fuel advantage of the 2 cars in front, but it's close.
Yeah, they're about 1 to 2 laps difference, but we saw Adam Blocker go 42 laps earlier, so we know it can be done. I just don't know how hard you can push, especially if you're leading the group.
You got to figure that Schowen and Blocker had to use up a little bit of what they had in the tank to get caught up. But what good is the fuel if you finish in third? These guys are racing for the win.
So Brian Yazik has gotten around Joe Hassert, so he's back on the lead lap. He's 13th right now. First car a lap down, or not the last car not a lap down, but his track position is all wrong as he is basically 3/4 of a lap behind.
Yeah. He can race like a bat out of heck, but it's not going to matter. There's just not enough time for him to get up there. Hassert goes around again. Hassert dreaming, praying for some type of yellow to come out. His only hope of winning.
Karam, meanwhile, leading Kinsella, staying right behind Chris Stouffer still, using him as a pick for the draft for save some fuel, but right behind them, it's now a group of 4 for second place. It's Kinsella, Stouffer, Karam, and Blocker.
Right, the 3 cars in front do not matter if you're watching on that overhead shot. The gray car is Hacker, the fluorescent car is Krahula, and Stouffer. It all starts with the car of Karam. 14 to go, and these laps are going to click off fast. Karam already has a win this season. Kinsella does not. Adam Blocker in 5th does. To go.
Meanwhile, Joe Hassert stays out. He's right behind Brian Yazik, who's sitting in 12th spot, last car on the lead lap. But once again, his track positioning is all backwards. He's almost he's about three-quarters of a lap behind Karam.
George Anzaldo gets his car out of the way. Actually, Anzaldo has put the car in the wall. Can we look at car number 6? I don't think we're going to get a yellow. He's in the wall. He tried to get out of the way. Now he brings the car down into pit lane. Oh, my goodness. Great job of horrible racing from George Anzaldo. I mean this, George, as a total compliment. He's got lap cars coming. He's got the leaders coming behind him. He just puts the car up here in the wall. Then he gets it stuck in the wall. He can't get it off. And he's able to bring it down to pit lane.
Well, Joe Hazard is in the pits while we watch this replay. You can see he gets up in the marbles and just kind of gets into the wall. Can't get off of it. And he does find a spot. He doesn't stop. And he does find a spot to cut down into pit lane, keep this going green. Joe Hazard's finally given up and pitted.
Now, talk about being put in a tough position. There's a battle for 13th going on with Krahula. Stouffer is in this mix. These guys are playing an important part. They can't really get out of the way because I think Karen is enjoying getting the fuel savings from being behind him. But eventually, the racing is going to start, and these guys might be there on the final lap.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's side-by-side, Karam and Kinsella for the lead. Right behind them is Blocker.
And here comes Goodman.
And Goodman as well. But Goodman's a lap down. So
You're right.
He's not in the game as well.
I apologize. It's not Goodman in the mix. It is Blocker and Schowen that are the runs that are counted.
Christopher, these guys have gotten around Christopher, but Christopher's going to go back around them. He's going to go down to the inside of Andrew Kinsella.
The car you want to pay attention to is the 4th one in line on the top side. I'm going to call it teal. It's kind of a gray, tealy, metallic teal of Andrew Kinsella. Car number 41. Karam behind him, and now Blocker is up to 3rd.
Well, if we want to get crazy here, we got some teammates in this group. We got Christopher is teammates with Tony Schowen. So I don't know if he can do anything to help him. He could just kind of run a blocker and just kind of be in the way. He's not doing that at the moment, but I just wanted to point that out. We do have some teammates out there.
Well, that's a very important note. The cars up front, the yellow car of Krahula, this is a battle for 10th as he goes underneath Blocker. They race to be inside the top 10. Also racing with those guys is Ron Hacker, who almost gets into Kinsella's. Kinsella drifts up.
Yeah, it
Kinsella
looks like
now the 5th car in line.
Looks like Kinsella wanted to get around Ron Hacker, and Ron wasn't going to let him by, and Kinsella had to get back out of it. And you got to remember, these guys are out there for 34 laps so far. Their tires aren't so good, so even though they're leading, they just can't just motor through these guys like they want to. But those guys in front, some of those guys are, hopefully they just realize we got 6 to go. They just kind of back out of it, but we'll see. Right now, Kinsella leading Karam. Blocker is right behind Karam. So Blocker's gone from nowhere to running in 3rd position with 6 to go.
We're not going to go there. There is a battle a little farther back for 5th. Jay Brandt has a chance to go the distance with Justin Weaver. We'll check in on them on the last lap, but right now our attention's going to be up front. 5 to go, and a bunch of traffic in front of the leader. We ride on board off the tail of Sage Karam, looking back at Blocker. Blocker has 1 more lap used up in his tank. Karam sitting in a little better fuel position. Kinsella the leader. Both cars following other traffic. They need the traffic for fuel, but that could be a tough thing for Karam, as Kinsella can use the traffic as chess pieces and maybe block some track position. Goodman now goes underneath the 2 cars that are in front of him. That's Goodman moves up into 10th around Krahula. Stouffer drops back behind the 4 cars that are a lap down. 3 to go. Andrew Kinsella with a 4-car length lead on Sage Karam. Blocker now looking to get around Karam for second.
I think Blocker's going to wait till the very last minute to make that move. There's no reason for him to pass him now. Andrew Kinsella looking for the draft on the straightaway, but in the corners you can tell he's trying to find any kind of clear space on that front wing, as I know his front tires are probably giving up a little bit as they're working lap 41 for Adam Blocker, lap 39 for Andrew Kinsella and Karam. So he's looking for some clear track. We're coming down to the wire. I don't know how much these guys got.
2 to go. Here comes Blocker. Stouffer has fallen off. It's a 3-car battle now. Stouffer is out of the mix. Blocker going underneath Sage Karam. Puts his left sides down on the yellow line. Karam with momentum out. The flagman pulls out the white flag. He waves it. Kinsella goes underneath him. Karam with a great run. They're going to be side by side down into corner number 1. They got clear track ahead of them. Kinsella seems to be a little bit off the pace. The car ahead of him is Stouffer. They can draft off him. Karam goes around him. He's now with a 2-car length lead. Is there time for Kinsella to get there? Blocker with a run in 3rd. There's traffic in front. The traffic will be there. Here comes Kinsella underneath. Side by side into 3. He has to give it up. He loses momentum. Karam with a run off of 4. Coming to the line. I don't think anybody's get there. The win for the U.S. 500 in Michigan is going to go to Sage Karam.
And I think Blocker just ran out of gas.
Blocker gets 3rd.
He gets 3rd, but I think he ran out of gas just as he came out of turn 4.
Brandt comes around, beats Weaver to the line for a top 5 finish.
That was pretty exciting.
Goodman comes across. He's going to get that 10th position ahead of Hacker and Krahula.
And Joe Branch, he ran out of gas, comes in home 9th, but he ran out of gas just as he finished across the line as well.
Sweet, sassy Molassie, what a race! 1 yellow flag early on, green the rest of the way. Let's take a break so we can catch our breath here on the iRacing Esports Network and the Global Sim Racing channel. Don't go far. We'll be back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and put a lock on the gate. Welcome back to the Lionheart US 500 presented by the Butt Kicker and the very important third leg of any GSRC broadcast stool as we go to the HyperX post-race show. You know, Lionheart Racing Series is powered by HyperX, and when you're trying to claw your way to the top of the podium, it pays to have an ultra-comfortable, high-quality headset that gives you the audio information you need to grab the checkered flag. From high-performance drams and SSDs, outstanding microphones, accurate mice, responsive keyboards, and their legendary cloud line of gaming headsets, HyperX makes the gaming gear you need to succeed. Casual or pro, no matter your creed, color, or culture, we're all gamers, and HyperX is always ready to game. Use promo code LionHRT15 at hyperxgaming.com. With that said, we're going to go to our turn racing finishing order. It is Sage Karam who was able to outsmart the rest of the guys. Andrew Kinsella did all he could as he takes second. Adam Blocker, we followed his progress all the way through. He must have known what he was doing as he was saving fuel to get that podium position. Tony Schowen faded to the end to settle for fourth. Jay Brandt and Justin Weaver go fifth and sixth. Brian Yazik and Joe Hassard, they were out in front, but they ran out of fuel. They finished seventh and eighth. Joe Branch in ninth, rounding out your top 10, Michael Goodman.
Coming on 11th will be Ron Hacker. James Skrahula had to pit. He pitted early to take that last stop and might have helped him out. He finishes 12th, though. Coming home in 13th, first car lap down, Mark Cohn, good job. Adam Frazier, our top rookie, coming home 14th. This will help him out. 15th is Samuel Ryman. We thought he could squeeze it out a little bit, but he had a pit and lost a lap. Christopher, well, he was in that lead group of four, and he got a pit speeding penalty on that last stop. I just saw a post that he let go of the pit speed limiter too early, I think. And that's going to drop him all the way down to 16th. I think he led the most laps. 17th is Brian Carey. 18th is Bart Workman. And 19th, Brandon Linkerman. And coming home 20th is Mike Rigby.
Blackjack Scotty Johnson with Brian Greenlee behind him in the double duck spot. Stephen Larkamp and Dustin Wardlow did not hear much from them. They go 23rd and 24th. Brian Beard gets the quarter century mark. Tyler Groff was racing up front for a while with some unique pit strategy. It didn't work out in the end. He's 4 laps down in 26th, ahead of Chris Lanini. Having trouble was George Anzaldo, 16 laps down. We didn't see what happened to Damon Martinez. He was up front for a while. He'll have to settle for 29th. Joshua Chin had a sick car, fell from the front. He has to settle for 30th. Ken Hacker, Connor Harrington, Nathan Lewis, and Darren Ganji, I believe, were all caught up in that early incident that also involved Jason Galvin. And there is your turn racing finishing order. Let me talk a little bit here about turn racing, as they are trying to merge the gap between real and sim racing, and use promo code Lionheart10 at turnracing.com to get a discount on your order there. All right, let's go down to Victory Lane now, the Sim Experience Victory Lane, and talk to our race winner, Sage Karam. Sage, when did you know that you were going to be able to get there on one less stop than the guys you were racing with?
I don't know. I really don't. I knew it was going to be close. I knew a few guys around me were trying to make it, but I knew when I was in that pack of four with like a stop or two to go, they were all stopping before I was. So I knew I was in the best shape out of them, and I knew there were a couple guys behind me on my strategy as well. So it was kind of weird, like trying to save fuel and manage a gap and do all that. And, luckily I had, Josh and Damon helping me with fuel numbers. I mean, I wish they weren't helping me because they, ended up helping me because their races went so bad that, they had to retire and, had the opportunity to help me. So that stinks. But, no, we had a lot of fun with it. That was probably the coolest sim race I've ever done in my life and best sim race win I've ever had. I saved from the beginning, and I think the first stint is honestly what won it for us. So, I went like 4 laps longer the first stint, and, that trend just kept on going. And, I tried to take the lead a few times early on, but then once I saw that we were kind of spread out and it was staying green, I was like, all right, let's save some fuel here and see what we can do.
Talk about saving fuel. Let's get you on that after the last stop. You come out and basically you're by yourself. Rich and I were wondering, did you kind of slow down to let some of those lap cars get in front of you? Were you happy to follow people on that last stint?
Yeah, so I was really worried about that. I wanted to come out with people around me, but unfortunately, I came out all by myself, and I knew I had a couple seconds to the group behind me that was on my strategy. So originally, I wanted to come out with those 3 other guys that pitted right before I did, and it just seemed like how I stretched the fuel, and they got on new tires. They were able to open up a pretty good gap, but I needed to save to make it to the end still. So yeah, there were a few cars behind me that I knew weren't going to make it, or pitted again, and weren't on the lead lap, and I had to lift. I gave up like 3 seconds, in like 2 laps, just to let those guys by and just get behind them. And then the whole last of the stint was so cool because it was me, Kinsella, and Blocker, um, and then we had other guys in the mix that were trying to get their laps back and everything. But I think everybody knew who we were racing. Like, I knew I was racing Kinsella and Blocker. So anytime Kinsella would try to go to the inside, I'd have to like push him and try to not let him take the position while still trying to manage fuel. And a lot of the times it went back to the red, of not being able to make it, and then we'd have to like extreme save the next couple laps to get it back. And then, at the start of the final lap, I had no idea if we were going to make it or not. I came across the line and it said I was point one of a lap not making it. So I was like, uh-oh. And of course, at that point, it's like, the gloves are off, and I went for it. And thankfully, we made it, and I ran out of fuel about 20 feet before the line.
It was a great race indeed. Congratulations on picking up your second win this season.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Sage Karam, your man who gets to celebrate in Victory Lane, the Sim Experience Victory Lane. And to help you get there, check out the Sim Experience AccuFirst Series. It has the most advanced tuning feature on the market. The AccuFirst Direct Drive is second only to the Real Thing. See the entire Sim Experience line of products at simexperience.com. Richie, who you got?
Yeah, we got second place finisher Andrew Kinsella. Andrew Kinsella. Yeah, there we go. Here we got Andrew Kinsella, second place finisher. So, Andrew, let's talk about the beginning. Qualified on pole, which is usually lately you've been struggling in qualifying. So that was a good run. Ran in the front group, but then you kind of lost that pack there at some point.
Yeah, so first of all, super stoked about my first ever Lionheart pole. It took me 3.5 seasons to do it, but finally put a qualifying run together that I could be proud of and stuck it on pole for the first time ever. So really happy about that. Yeah, I was just cruising for the first little while there, and then on my first pit stop, I overslid the box and fell about 4 or 5 seconds, probably a little bit more back of the lead because they also did an undercut on me. So then from there, it was just managing the strategy basically.
Yeah, I mean, we were, obviously one yellow for a 500-mile race is pretty rare. And there was kind of like 3 distinct packs out there, and nobody could really make any moves. And I'm sure you guys are probably thinking, oh, there's going to be a yellow, but there wasn't. And then all of a sudden, when did it actually come where you started working the math and you go, well, I got to make it to this lap and then I'm good to go?
I mean, we know our fuel numbers from the very beginning. We knew that there was an outside chance we could make it if we saved, and then just the way that the strategy worked out, the way that the set worked, especially early, you could swap draft and you could make some time up, and then at a certain point, you were actually losing time by swapping, so you just sat in behind people. So myself and Tony, we sort of got together, and we were basically together the whole race after I made that mistake, and we were hitting our fuel numbers, and we were basically just cruising for the most part, and then trying to get the gap down whenever we could early in the runs, and it paid off. We were fortunately close enough that when Sage had to save big at the end and couldn't lead, we were able to sort of get up there and made for, I hope, what was an entertaining finish, because it was definitely entertaining from the cockpit.
Yeah, it was an awesome race to commentate. And yeah, I mean, Sage came out kind of on his own, and he admitted he had to slow down to get some people in front of him. Otherwise he wasn't going to make it. So he kind of drew you guys back up to him, and then you guys fought it out right there to the end. It was great racing. Did you make it, or did you run out?
I made it. It sputtered about 100 feet past the line. Yeah, I just made a mistake with one to go. I defended low. I should have defended high. I knew I should have defended high, and I didn't. So that was my mistake. But Yeah, good race for Sage. It was definitely a good battle. We were trading it back and forth. We both knew exactly what was going on from the minute I got up with him, that he had to keep me behind him and I had to keep him behind him. And it was one hell of an entertaining finish, I got to say.
Yeah, it was a great race. You guys definitely go back and watch it, rewatch it. Well, thanks for joining us. Awesome job. I'm sure you got some good people you want to thank real quick.
Yeah, just everyone at Adrenaline Motorsports and Adrenaline Power Slide. We had great communication, great pit strategy all day. Feel bad for Chris. He was dominating this thing. He didn't quite have the right strategy because he was leading, but he would have been in for a good finish. And hats off to Adam and Tony for being there with me at the end as well.
Yep. Thank you very much. And yeah, go back and watch it. I think you'll like it. Soup?
All right, I get to talk to our third place finisher, Adam Blocker. Adam, 29th in qualifying. We followed your progress through the field. It was basically going nowhere. Yeah, you got it up to 10th, but you were never really in the first group or second group. Basically, you were in the third group. Don't tell me you had the whole thing planned this way.
No, I didn't. I mean, so I intentionally started near the back because I thought it was going to be a very packy race with quite a few yellows, to be honest. And obviously, that turned out not to be the case. I mean, one caution in 500 miles is pretty unheard of. So, yeah, I was really just chilling for the first bit and was really running last at the beginning of that green run.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, like you said, like I think maybe 150, 100 to go, maybe 150 to go. I was like 14 seconds back, and so I had to make up 14 seconds and not use enough fuel to do an extra stop. So there was a long time where I was swapping with James Grahula, and we were keeping up or making time on the leaders. And the problem was when I was doing that, I was burning a lot of extra fuel. So it made it so that once we caught, I think, Sam Ryman and Larkamp in the third to last stint, I was just saving behind them because I knew that it was going to be super close for me. And then I pitted with 84 to go, which meant I had to do two 42-lap stints. And the first 42-lap stint, when I came in my box, I had 0.01 gallons left. I had to clutch into my box going like 30 miles an hour instead of 55, so I lost a lot of time. But somehow I managed to keep with the lead pack because I was following Krahula. He wasn't saving fuel, and I was. So I was able to follow Krahula up to the lead pack and then just save there with them. And yeah, I just unfortunately didn't have enough fuel. Like I had to manage fuel so much. I ran out of fuel out of four. So otherwise I could have had a go at Sage or Andrew. But yeah, I just didn't have the fuel.
Nevertheless, I would say one of your best third place finishes that you've ever had. This was really impressive. Nice job, Adam.
Yep. Yeah, definitely take it, especially double points. It's really important. Yeah, I just want to thank the team. We had a pretty good race. Stouffer, unfortunately, had issues, but he was really dominant, showed how good he is at this track. And yeah, Andrew and Tony, second and fourth, with me third. It's a really good team result. We were working together on fuel number the whole time, trying to figure out what was going on. And yeah, I just want to thank them for all the work they do. League for putting on the race. It was a really good race. Like I said, one caution, and you guys for calling the race.
You got it. Congratulations on a good points day, Adam Blocker, two-time champion and defending champion. One more we're going to hear from GSRC's own Samuel Ryman, who had a shot at a Richie.
Yeah, Sam, great qualifying position. Ran up front, kind of got out of that group there, and you were on quite a different strategy. We thought that was going to play out for you at the end. Tell us a little bit what happened.
Sped entering the pits. Unfortunately, that's what it all came down to. Yeah, no, I think that's one of the best oval races I've ever driven in Lionheart, which was saying something considering the strength of competition. Are you asked? Our director is typing. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My microphone sounds bad. Does it sound better now? Anyhow. Yeah, okay. All right. So for those people who didn't catch it, I sped into the pits. I thought Justin Weaver and I were two of the only ones who could make it to the end on fuels. It was kind of a relief when I saw cars finishing ahead of Weaver. I'm like, oh, I didn't give up a win. That's good. I just gave up a top 5 finisher. Still got 15th and we'll take it. But yeah, no, qualified 8th. Had an awesome save after a bit of contact with George Anzaldo early on. I don't know if you guys caught that, but and then played the
Yeah, we
strategy.
saw that.
Can't wait to watch that one back. And yeah, no, I was playing the strategy cards already and just made one big mistake at the end there. But you know, you gotta lose one before you can win one. We wouldn't have won one today, but we would have had a good finish.
Yeah, no, good job there. We wanted to bring you in, give you props because good showing, and we'll see you at the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, take care, guys, and thanks for putting on another great broadcast. And talk to you again soon.
Samuel Ryman. Happy but disappointed with this finish. You know, I mentioned it in the opening. These guys know how to race clean. They know how to race hard. And when you see them on the track, they put on a great show. Man, did they prove me right on that one. Let's go ahead and thank everybody that made this possible. As we go to all the people who want to start with the Lionheart IndyCar Series, the title sponsor, that'd be First Medical Equipment. They've been the source of medical supplies and equipment in the Burlington, Iowa area for years because of their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and customer service. Then these three sponsors. HyperX. Whatever you play, however you play HyperX, we're all gamers. Use promo code LionHRT15 at hyperxgaming.com. How about Sim Experience? It's second only to the real thing. SimExperience.com. And this race sponsor today, Butt Kicker. We are able to talk a little about them, bring more realism and immersion to your session. Use promo code LION2020 at thebuttkicker.com. Now, to contact any of the sponsors, and you'll see them on screen right now, just go to LionheartRacingSeries.com. How about for the original music? You want to know about that? That comes courtesy of June Lalonde. See the screen for contact information there. On screen now are some of the companies, equipment, and software that made this broadcast possible. The Lionheart IndyCar Series returns May 6th for Round 6, the Battle at Barber, presented by HPP. Well, that sounds like something out of Game of Thrones, doesn't it? GSRC and ISN will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, go to globalsimracingchannel.com or Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, Twitter at GSRC Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Hey, if you haven't already become a GSRC YouTube subscriber, head over to our YouTube page and hit that button to subscribe. Looking for a great Mother's Day gift? Go to GSRC Merchandise Store at GSRCStoreEnvy.com. That's one E in Store Envy. Sadly, the Joe Peak personalized sewn GSRC cuddle quilts are out of stock, but there's plenty of other things for mom to love. There's a link provided in the description below. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Richie, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching as Sage Karen picks up his second season win here in the Lionheart US 500 presented by Butt Kicker at Michigan. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.